Good afternoon, good evening, Sector 1 sim racing fans from Australia, New Zealand, and around the world. We are back for more action from Croix here in France for Sector 1 sim racing Season 8. And how good is it to be here? I am joined for Race 1 tonight by the lovely or Graham, as we all know and love him. How are you tonight, sir?
Good evening everyone. Really looking forward to this. It's a 10k track and it's got heaps of surprises, and we do have a pretty competitive group here. So judging by their practice before, so looking forward to it.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have the point standings available to show on the broadcast at the moment. They are available on the Sector 1 Sim Racing website. But you had some thoughts about that, didn't you, Graham?
Yeah, look, definitely a bit hard too, GT7 with its timing bug at the moment, but there was a whole group of drivers sitting quite comfortably in the 17s, a couple dipped into the 16s. So I think quali might hold a few surprises,
And
especially with the top few.
with the way the kind of points championship's looking right now, you were talking about second to about fifth or sixth place. Really, really close on points in the championship at the moment.
Yeah, we've got Snake Eyes. He is out with a bit of a lead. Then we've got 5 drivers within 18 points, and then another 5 pushing within 7. So, especially on a race on a track like this, it's part fuel, it's part racing the others, but this track needs respect. So anything could happen.
Speaking of this track, here it is on the screen for you now. Croix, the big boy layout is just over a 3-minute lap here in these Group 2 cars, the Honda NSX GT500 from 2008. Medium tyres for our drivers tonight, 15 laps to contend with. Last week we saw a mix of strategies, 2 stops and 1 stops. Have a look at that now. Actually, we've got that on screen for you too. Here is your strategy prediction. So 8 or 7 laps for your 1-stop strategy. So you might go longer second time around or first time around, depending on what you want to do. Or, as CaptainMuffin made work in Division 1 to great aplomb, was the 5-5-5 2-stop strategy, which we saw him snag a podium with, which was really awesome to see. So any expectations go on what we should expect from these guys in terms of strategy tonight?
Look, I think there will be a lot running the 1-stop, and just looking at some of the shift indicators in practice, I think that's on the card. But there were a few that were taking the rev limiter right to the max, so they could be practicing that 2-stop.
All right, and
So
15
I think
minutes.
we'll have a couple. Yep.
15 minutes of quali coming up for these drivers very, very shortly. I think we'll get that underway now, shall we?
No worries. So I'll push the button. Full field of 13.
All right, 15 minutes of qualifying time for our drivers this evening. Division 4 action coming your way here at Sector 1 Sim Racing, and later on tonight we will be moving to Division 2 for the evening as well, and there's some fantastic battles going on in that one. But more on that later. We're going to have a look at Division 4 now as we kick straight in to qualifying. Here we are then in the pits on the paddock at the moment. Out on track for these guys. Go around for their first out lap. Get rid of our timer there because it's not quite accurate this time around. Now, so let's have a little bit of a look through our field. Seeing as we couldn't look at our championship standings as they sit right now, we're going to have to run through now in any case. So, out the front, first man out the pits for Black Rose Racing is Sizzling Sausage in the white and black. Now, I'm going to pull up my championship standings here so I have a good frame of reference. Now, Sizzling Sausage is currently second in the championship. So he leads that second pack that's chasing Snake Eyes at the moment. So he's got a 3-point gap to Wartime behind, who's a little bit further back, and we'll get to later. So Sizzling Sausage looking to hold on to that second place spot at the moment. Maybe make inroads to Snake Eyes if he can find a way to get that done. Here's a Johnson for Brocchio 5 Sim Racing here in the pink, black and blue, or turquoise if you want to get really specific. Kez has had a pretty solid season so far, so he's currently sitting in 4th, so he's in that second pack as well, chasing Snake Eyes. So a gap to Sizzling Sausage for Keza Johnson is 5 points, so definitely within reach of that second spot. And speaking of Snake Eyes, our current point leader for this division. Division 4, Snake Eyes here in third for Respawn Esports in the West colours, the McLaren colours of seasons gone by. Back in the old F1 seasons when Kimi Räikkönen was driving for McLaren. Heads through, just a second on the grid for now. He'll look to get some clean air for his lap, as will Keza. Laminator for Lightning Motorsports in fourth on track at the moment. Now, Laminator is currently sitting 10th in the standings with 52 points, but 54 points and 55 points ahead of him in the forms of Bogzilla and Petey Pops. Bogzilla, who has retired from the season due to hardware issues as well as other commitments. So that leaves an opportunity now for Laminator to bump himself up the standings a little bit. Madrick, second of the Respawn Esports cars there, also running the West liveries, identifiable by the name on the side of the car. You see Madrick imprinted there. Madrick's had a bit of an up and down season. He is currently 7th in the standings with 72 points, so right at the tail end of that first pack of cars in the point standings as it sits right now. So he want to make inroads and get himself a little bit further up that. So with 72 points for him, 1 point would be enough to equal Debrev in front of him, but then he'd need a few more to leap Renegade or Keza after the earlier parts of this season. Spitzy for Croix Esports there in 6th, the black and orange. Very contrasting colours there on that car, and it's a good look. I like it. Looks like fire, this car. Now, Spitzy currently, he's sitting 13th in the standings, so not off to the best start this season. 41 points. 7 points would see him equal with Malevolent One up ahead, though, so there is opportunities to jump up the standings this evening. Womble for Red Mist Racing, team owner Red Mist Racing as well, in the beautiful trademark livery with the liquid designs on the back there, underneath the rear wing. Lovely looking car. Bit of a sticker bomb theme going on there with that one, which we love to see, and lives up to the trademark motto, conversation starters. Renegade in 8th place at the moment, giving a tow to Malevolent One as well. Now, Renegade's the Hooncorp driver for Division 4. He's currently sitting P5 in the standings with 77 points, 11 points behind Keza Johnson, so a bit of time to make up, but he'll be hoping not to drop points for the likes of Debrev and Mad Rick behind. Malevolent One now is 12th in the standings with 48 points, with 2 points to Womble in front, so not far behind him there. So another one of those packs with opportunities to make change. Petey Pops P10 at the moment. Now, he filled in last week in Division 3, I believe it was. So he's had a bit of practice running in real race situations, so hopefully that'll come and work to his advantage tonight, having that little bit of extra experience on the guys. And he currently sits P8 in the standings, leading the second pack. He's got a 1 point gap to Bogzilla behind, who's not racing, but then 3 points to Laminator behind him. The Brev for CP Motorsports in 11th at the moment. Now, Debrev's in that first pack, just ahead of Madrick on points. He'll be looking to jump Renegade and possibly Keza this evening. Bit of a gap to Keza, 11 points plus the 4 to Renegade, so that's 15 points to Keza there for Debrev. But opportunity to make inroads tonight and could get the jump on Renegade with a good qualifying lap and a good race. Wartime, P12 for Brocchio 5 Sim Racing, second of the Brocchio 5 cars. He's third in the championship at the moment. A couple of really good performances so far this season. 3 points to Sizzling Sausage in front, so definitely an opportunity to get the jump on him and get ahead. Nemesis, currently P14 in the championship, 35 points, not too far behind Spitzy. Looking for a good performance this evening because he's had a bit of a struggle for form so far this season, so we'll see what he can accomplish here at St. Croix. Now, qualifying is 15 minutes tonight, so keep an eye on that timer in the bottom left of your screen. When that ticks over to 15, the guys will be on their final lap, but it's important to note as well that the continuation time for a lap is 3 minutes, as demonstrated by John TCT last week in Division 1. So he didn't make it around to set his final flying lap, which he was on for a personal best. So he would have been kicking himself. So hopefully the guys in Division 4 and Division 2 this evening have learned from that mistake and won't make the same one. Sizzling Sausage to the line. First car to set a representative lap time with Snake Eyes just behind. It's a 16 to start us off, quickly surpassed by a
Wow.
14.8 from Snake Eyes.
Yeah, Snake Eyes, he was in the just starting to hit the toe of Sausage down the back straight. That would have helped.
Yeah, he's timed that one well, hasn't he? So the
Yeah.
slipstream quite effective over longer distances here. So now that we've set it to weak, it does make quite a bit of a difference. Petey Pops gets to 5th, which is, he'll be very happy with that right now. Provisionally 5th on the board with a 17. Good way to start the qualifying session for Petey Pops. He needs that after the season he's having so far. Great way to kick off. Keep up the momentum, mate. Madrick currently sitting P3, second of the respawn cars up the top. Not for the first time this season. Him and Snake Eyes have really got a bit of a chokehold on Division 4 at the moment as he goes well wide there, so that's probably going to be a bit of a write-off for this lap. And that, I think, no, that's not Wartime, that is Sizzling Sausage. No. Where's our other Brocchio 5 sim race?
Wartime. And Keza.
Keza. There he is. Look.
He did an 18.9.
So Keza will be looking to improve on that. Keza's been one of the big showers for Division 4 so far this season. So I think he's definitely got a bit more in his locker. Chance to pull some time. He'll be hoping for Madrick to probably get out of the way here, to be honest.
And we've just seen Sizzling Sausage pull to the left and let Snake Eyes through, so a bit of strategy there.
Might be searching for a toe, maybe. Looks like he might be. He's hanging tough.
That said, Snake Eyes is 0.6 up on his
Snake Eyes
previous.
on a good lap now.
That's a
Sizzling
low
Sausage
14.
lap's been written off. He's about half a second off his best there through that sector. So he'll be thinking about the next lap already, I think. Black Rose car trying to stay in touch. It says Snake Eyes bringing the neck of that Honda NSX. That guy is super quick right now. Let's see if it makes a difference for Sizzling Sausage, how much time he pulls down the straight. We've got a couple of cars in the background there, also on very, very quick laps at the moment. See what the difference in sector time is here for Sizzling Sausage. He was half a second down almost exactly in the last sector. See what he is here after having a slipstream down a big long straight. .3, so
Nearly
worth 2/10.
Yep, and Snake Eyes is nearly 7/10 up.
The Snake Eyes is potentially going to dip into the 13s here. That's upper div 3 times based on what we saw last week. Rev's Law laying down the law with times like that last week. Snake Eyes looking to challenge. He's going to be happy with this one. Snake Eyes comes to the line. Will he crack a 13? It just might be. He does. It's .957. That's a fantastic lap from Snake Eyes. And right now, he'd probably just about pull over and leave it there, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah, well, I think in Div 3 we only had one in the 13, so we've got a new apprentice prospector.
Laminated with a fantastic lap for Lightning Motorsport, 14.6. That's also knocking on the door. Maybe Snake Eyes hasn't quite got it as in the bag as we thought. An awesome lap from Laminator. Put Snake Eyes on notice. And he's purple through the first sector as well. Laminator wants pole position tonight. He came to play.
We got the two Brocchio 5 sim racing at 5th and 6th, so good performance there.
Yeah, really good for their team right now. We're on board with Sizzling Sausage. Keep an eye on this gap. See if he'll pull some time on that back straight thanks to Snake Eyes. I get the feeling Sizzling Sausage got a bit of time in his locker that he can make use of. As he let Snake Eyes through on the last lap, which would have cost him that half second that he was down in the mid stages. As long as he stays within touch of Snake Eyes, you'll get a bit of a pull along the straight. But he's going to have to be quick through here. Get the feeling he might have dropped out of slipstream range just about. See what this does.
Yeah,
Across the bridge.
next corner entry will be the key.
Got a sector split coming up just at the end of the bridge here. There we go. 7/10 up. Not enough to unseat Laminator at this stage, but he's still within range of Snake Eyes. So this is going to be a good lap. Well improvement on that 16 that he's got on the board. Good exit onto the back straight too. I think Sizzling Sausage is going to have a good improvement here. 0.732 up. With a slipstream now as well. Or a sniff of one anyway. Heavy on the brakes into the hairpin up here. Snake Eyes well and truly in range. Snake Eyes pace incredible around here. Dropped a bit of time there through that sector. Has Sizzling Sausage, so it's probably only going to be a half
Laminator
second.
and Kessler have come together.
Oh, not for Laminator. That's no good. We don't know what he was on for, but purple through that first sector and threatening Snake Eyes, to say the very least.
Yeah, it was in around that turn 2021.
Sizzling Sausage drops a 15. Puts a bit more security on that third spot. Madrick improves, but not by enough.
And Laminator's hit the wall again onto the straight.
Oh, wow. That's going to ride off the next lap. There you go. Game
And
over.
He needs to get around. Actually, won't get around in time, I don't think.
No, so...
But he's got a good one in the bank.
He does.
He's pulled over, yeah.
Provisionally P2, and that will be as good as it gets for Laminator, unfortunately. But there's still a battle raging on track. Sizzling Sausage looking to improve, and now opportunity knocks. 8/10 he needs to find to unseat Laminator, but Laminator will not be able to respond to whatever he lays down this time around. And a 10th up already, despite not having the slipstream from Snake Eyes this lap. Bit of a more extensive gap between the two of them.
Yeah, and Womble's had a mischief at T3.
Womble P7, by the way.
Yeah. Very
16.8
solid.
right now. It's not a large gap either side. 0.02 to Spitzy behind, but it's not a bad place to be right now, but he'll be hoping that no one else improves this lap because he is not looking too sharp out there. Bit of a pun, that one. That's the surname as well. That was not intentional, I promise. Yeah, not on the best of form this lap. Well down on his best, so just reserving the rest of this qualifying session for practice. Spitzy looking to improve. Have a quick look at the sector split for Spitzy at the end of this straight. 0.015 up. There's 0.005 between them at this stage.
And Snake Eyes is 4/10 under his record.
And wow, Snake Eyes is purple by 4/10. Unbelievable. We're going to stay with Spitzy for now. Could clear Womble for 7th place. Womble cannot answer him. And he's down by 0.277. He's fumbled the bag big time. Petey Pop's on the lap. Currently sitting P10. And down. So unfortunately that will be all she wrote for Petey Pops as well. The Brev coming onto the back straight right now.
Yeah, I reckon Snake Eyes is in for about a 13.5, 13.6 here.
Down
Which
to
is
the
a
Brev.
sensational time.
Nemesis no good. Renegade on a lap. Looking good. Snake Eyes is coming to the line. Will it be a low 13? Will it be better? It's going to be a 13.4. A fantastic lap from Snake Eyes there. Very, very well done. And that's pretty much full security for pole position. Didn't quite catch what Renegade's on, but he might be looking to unseat Debrev here. A couple of positions that could be made as these guys come across the line. Someone's off there. It's the Brocchio 5 car. I think that's Keza, yeah.
Mate, that turn on into the start straight, finish line by Snake Eyes is probably the best I've seen in the different lobbies and races. It was
and
really
Renegade goes above Debrev by just over a tenth and a half. Clears Debrev for 11th. He'll be happy to improve by 1 there. And it looks like that's all of them. There might be 1 or 2 more to come to the line. That's Petey Pops. He's down. Well down. Have a look here. Who's the last one? Is it Womble? Laminator. Laminator off a lap as well. So that is qualifying run and done. Division 4.
And Britain was in a second, splitting 4th back. So really good.
It was an impressive session from Snake Eyes, to say the very least. Laminator, disappointment in second there, with an opportunity to improve again on that last lap, but wasn't able to put a lap together, unfortunately. But the form looked good. Very, very good. And I think Snake Eyes might have been feeling the heat. Look now at our qualifying results. Here we are. Our grid lines up thus. Snake Eyes on pole with a 3:13.4, just over a second clear of Laminator in second. Sizzling Sausage in third. Madrick in fourth. Second of the respawn cars there as well, so good team points for them. Here's a Johnson in fifth and Wartime in sixth. Good points for Brocchio 5 there too, actually. 2 cars in the top 6 and nice and close together as well. There might be opportunity for a bit of teamwork there. Womble in 7th, Spitzy in 8th for Kraken Esports. Malevolent 1, P9, Petey Pops P10, Renegade P11, just getting the better of Debrev in the last moments. And Nemesis P13 for now starts at the back of the grid. Now, what are your thoughts, Guru? What do you think of that session and how does it stack up compared to what you were expecting?
The top 3 times, I wasn't expecting that. I thought they might sort of scrape into a 15, but that was sensational driving. You know, for Div 4, those times would have held their own in Div 3, easy. And yeah, really good work. But yeah, the next 5 drivers are all within 0.8 of a second. So actually 6 drivers. So I think the race will be on. It'll be a strategy game, and it's going to be interesting to see what the top 3, the fastest ones, do, whether it's a 1 or a 2.
It's a very Max Verstappen situation, isn't it? It's kind of Snake Eyes and then the rest right about now. So that sort of second down is going to be where the battling gets really intense. Now, I want to point out Laminator, second here on the grid now with a 314.6 and nearly a second clear of Sizzling Sausage behind, about 8 tenths. Laminator is currently 10th in the standings, so that is an awesome qualifying to get tonight underway for him. So the race comes next. The race is the one that matters, of course, but Laminator will be hoping to hold on to that and net a whole lot of points to continue on his campaign for the season. With a good bit of points tonight, jump up to 8th place, or maybe even better. Petey Pops is the one that he's chasing. Bogzilla, of course, has withdrawn from the series, so that's a pretty much guaranteed position change tonight. Petey Pops in P8 is the sort of the next on the list for Laminator, and Petey Pops currently with it all to do in 10th to hold on to that position. So a really good start to the night from Laminator. The rest, of course, kind of sit where we expect them. Sizzling Sausage currently second in the championship. Third's not a bad place to start on the grid, but he'll be looking to improve for sure. He won't want Laminator muscling in on his spot up there that he's kind of claimed for himself there. Wartime, who's currently 3rd in the championship standings down there, and 6th, will need to improve if he wants to hold on to that, because there's only 2 points to Keza behind him in the championship standings, and Keza is currently ahead of him on the grid. So there might be a bit of teamwork between them, but there's also going to be that thought, I'm sure, in the back of Wartime's head. That position on the podium for the championship is on the line here against Keza, and then, of course, we've got Renegade and Debrev, actually. Debrev 6th in the championship right now, and 12th on the grid. So seemingly Dobrev not gelling with the combination tonight, not enjoying Croix too much. Needs a bit of help from the Deeds boys, I think. Those guys love this track. Maybe not this particular variation, but Croix be a Deeds favourite for sure. But I think that's enough waffling from us. I think it is time that we get into tonight's race. What do you think, Brad?
No worries, I'll start this. I think at the end of 162 kilometres, there'll be a little bit of a shake-up in that 1 to 13 order, but we'll see how it goes.
Excited to see. So let's get these guys on the grid and underway. Exciting action from Division 4 this evening for you here at Sector 1 Sim Racing. 13 drivers will take to the grid. Only one will emerge victorious. We have an idea who it might be, but the remainder is all to play for, very much so, and it's anyone's guess who will end up where. We go to the grid now. Cars are staged. Division 4 lines up. 15 laps of action here at Croix. 2 strategies available for our drivers that we know of at the very least. And the lights are on, and we're away racing here at Croix. It's a good start from Sizzling Sausage in P3 there. And Snake Eyes under threat from Laminator. Laminator taking the lead for Lightning Motorsport early. It's a fantastic start for the white and green. And a clean run through the first corner there, which we love to see after what we saw last week. Definitely opportunities for chaos back there, and they make it through turn 2 as well. Snake Eyes dropped to P2. And under threat from Sizzling Sausage. On board we go now. Down towards the hairpin. Break at the 150. Will Sizzling Sausage go for it? No, he doesn't. Is there a car up the inside? We can't see that either, but it looks like he's all good. Madrick holds on to P4 back there, and they're too wide in the background. Wartime has gotten the better of Keza some way, somehow, and put Spitzy between them, the Kraken Esports car. Great play from Wartime so far. Looking down the inside of Madrick as well. On board we go with the Rocky 05 Sim Racing machine. That's Spitzy down the inside. It might be. It looks like it is. They're wheel to wheel. Didn't see that coming. The Kraken Esports car goes through. Both wide of the apex, offering opportunity to Womble behind, but he's fighting with Keza. We're missing all of it. Look at this. It's kicking off back here. Round the outside for Womble. He's going to have the inside for the left-hander here. Up to P8 he will go. Malevolent One will have to settle for P9 for now. Renegade not too far behind there. Up the front, Laminator leading the way, 7/10 to the good. It's not too bad of a gap right now, but he'll be worried, I'm sure, about Snake Eyes behind with the form that we've seen from him. Sizzling Sausage not far behind, and Madrick just holding on to this front pack as well. Laminator, crazy to think that Laminator is 10th in the standings for this championship right now. He is putting on a fantastic display here. And it's at this point that I start to wonder the difference in strategies. Is Laminator perhaps on a push strategy while Snake Eyes is conserving the car? We're going to see a concertina here down towards the hairpin at the end of the straight here. Bit of a bump from Sizzling Sausage on Snake Eyes to push him along. Looks like a fuel save from Sizzling Sausage as well. No move being made by Snake Eyes, but he opens the door a little bit to Sizzling Sausage, who very much allows him to have it back. Very polite racing from these two right now. I'm sure there's plenty of people at home shaking their fists. Come on, race! But the long game is sometimes the best game for these guys, and it looks like that's what they're playing right now. Apparently, Snake Eyes happy to stay in second for now, trusting that Laminator is on an inferior strategy. Not afraid to let him get away a little bit. Onto the straight, Sizzling Sausage well within firing range of Snake Eyes. Slipstream, very powerful down the straight. Laminator leads the way onto lap 2. Not close enough for a move. Slipstream from Laminator seemingly helping Snake Eyes a little bit. There's a car in the wall. It's Wartime. Drops a bit of pace. I don't know if he has damage. We can't see that on our screen, but
Yeah,
look to
just
be slowed up.
Front and front left damage.
Be slow on the straight here because of that. That arrow will be causing him problems on turn-in as well, but his teammate saving his bacon there a little bit by battling with the Kraken Esports cars, and it looks like Wartime's going to hold on to this.
And the first 4 definitely doing synchronized gear changing.
Nice bit of fuel saving up front. Strategy starting to come into play early. On board with Wartime now, looking back at 4 cars in the rearview mirror. Teammate, rear gunner Keza Johnson.
Ooh.
Right now, a bit of a bump into the braking zone. That's going to cause a problem, and that was rule number 1 of motorsport. Do not hit your teammate, and Keza Johnson has just broken it and then gone off to pay the price. Into the gravel trap for the second of the Brocchio 5 sim racing cars. That is, some would say, karma coming straight in.
Yeah, he certainly got a love tap from behind, Keza, so there was a bit of assistance there.
So definitely not a deliberate move into the back of his teammate, but he'll be kicking himself over that one, and I'm sure Wartime wasn't happy about it either. There's no way he could have known that he was tapped from behind, and it looks like Spitzy's going to take advantage as well.
Yeah, Wartime he lost a little bit of traction coming onto the bridge.
Womble down the inside of Renegade in the background there as well. Fighting tooth and nail. P7, wheel to wheel. That's great racing from those two. Both make it through. Womble ahead. And onto the straight. Exit here is crucial. Got to stomp on the power with full commitment. With the slipstream of Wartime as well. Gaining very quickly.
Bringing Renegade into play, and he's making a move.
Down the inside for Renegade, but Womble's going to get that slipstream assistance, but Renegade down the inside, well and truly, absolutely nothing that Womble could do about that one. And he takes the position, and now we'll go in pursuit of Wartime. Split into 2 packs now. We've got our top 4 who have run away. Madrick trailing the top 4 right now. Laminator leading the way. And then we've sort of got our mid-pack all the way through to last place. All together still on track. Barely any gaps between them.
Yeah, and that tight pack from 5th up is bringing Poppers back into play. He's down to 1.5 off the back of Malevolent one.
Started P10. Remains P10 and clawing it back. The doghouse car.
I think he'll be in slipstream range this lap.
He's looking pretty solid right now. Nice and consistent. And we saw last week consistency being the key factor in this track. Or one of the key factors. Womble's dropped to 8th. It's all kicking off in front of him. Renegade down the inside of Spitzy here. Kraken Esports car under threat from Hooncorp. Front row seat for the action.
A bit wide into turn 3.
Who's up the front. Looks like he holds on to it. And Renegade has to stay where he is, but Keza, or Wartime is that. Wartime in P5, I think it is. Defending for his life against Spitzy. Tap into the Hooncorp car there. Puts him late on the brakes. And loose from the Brocchio 5 car. 2 in 2 laps. There goes the second of the 2. What appears to be an unforced error costs the Brocchio 5 sim racing team dearly. Womble's compromised. The Deeds car looking to take advantage in the background. That's Malevolent 1.
Yeah, I think Womble's got the speed on these 2 in front, but he's just getting balked in track position. So it'll be interesting to see how it pans out on the next that long straight.
It seems to be that Womble is making passes right before a long power section, which is causing him to get... Oh, whoa! Wow! A huge move down the inside there for Malevolent 1. Through a corner that we do not see a lot of passing through. Womble's going to answer straight back. Down the inside into the left-hander. So what I was going to say was Womble seems to be making moves right before straights, like he is right now. We're just about to go into a huge power zone. Womble's going to have no slipstream assistance, and Malevolent One's going to have all the slipstream assistance from Womble, and probably go flying straight by him.
Yeah, and Wartime was on their bumper video to slight bobble through that sweeping right.
Still in the fight is Wartime. Petey Pop's right behind him now. I think Petey Pops will go through here as well. Look at this, down to the inside. On board now with Petey Pops, sweeps through before even entering the braking zone. Got an eye on Malevolent One in front. Tried it on Womble but couldn't quite get it done. Awesome racing so far in this division. Very impressed with these guys. So, let's refresh ourselves. Laminator leads the way at the end of lap 3. Remember, your pit window is lap 5 to lap 8. Pit lap 5, probably going for a 2-stop. They pit lap 7 or 8, that's your 1-stop strategy. Keep an eye out for that. 16.1 for Snake Eyes, and he's caught right up to the back of Laminator now. The gap was a lot bigger not too long ago, so things appear to be changing for these guys. Sizzling Sausage is not too far behind either.
And Kez has had an off going onto the start straight.
Kez's race goes from bad to worse. Now in 12th with almost no prospect of catching Debrev. 15 seconds behind. Now Debrev on the back of this pack too. These guys will probably fight, but I don't think they're going to lose 15 seconds worth of time. Petey Pops up to 9th. Goes through on Wartime. Now he'll try to hold it. 2 seconds to Malevolent One in front. And he's catching by the looks through here. Malevolent One seemingly flow through this section. Dropped a bit of time to Womble in front, which will have Womble breathing a sigh of relief, no doubt. Spent a lot of time fighting him. Now he'll be wanting to go in pursuit of Renegade. Petey Pop's catching Malevolent One very quickly here. Spitzy leads the second group, and we've had a disconnect from Nemesis.
ISO.
He was out the back. Let the stewards decide if that was a disconnect or a rage quit or whatever the case may be. But it looked like he was not on for the best of results. Unfortunate situation. We are down to 12.
Yeah, just checking the comms, there's nothing in there, so yeah, not sure.
Go on board with Snake Eyes now. This could be his opportunity. Depends how much fuel he's trying to save. It looks like he's trying to save a lot, because Laminator is pulling time on him while Snake Eyes is in the slipstream. So Snake Eyes doing a massive fuel saver job here by the look of things. Playing the long strategy, and it's working out for him so far. He's sitting right in the slipstream of Laminator. Looks like he's doing exactly what he wants. Just hear a short shift there as well. So you can tell that he's in conservation mode right now. I'd say
Spiteri must have had a little bit of a moment yet. He's just yielded to Renegade through turn 20. Actually, really interesting coming up. This is the start of lap 5, and we're starting to see a bit of divergence in the fuel. So
all right, so what do we say we do a tyre and fuel update now that we're here?
Yep.
Right, here we go.
All right, I'll kick off for APR Automotive tyre and fuel update. Tyres going to be pretty okay. Mediums are holding out on this race, and they're changing at your pit stop. Laminator is a smidge under half. Snake Eyes is probably carrying about 6% more fuel at the moment, so the fuel save strategy is working. Sizzling Sausage, probably in between the two of them at the moment, and Madrick equal with Laminator. So the top four are definitely in that fuel save, although Madrick is falling off the train at the moment, so he'll struggle a bit harder. Renegade is right on half. Tyres, all these tyres have been in good condition so far. Now, Womble, who just got passed by Spiteri, is probably the one that I can't see him getting to that lap 7, lap 8 at the moment. Just the way he's revving, and also his fuel is sitting a touch over, probably around about the 30% mark.
Wow.
Malevolent one, touch under half, so he's in the window and just passing Womble. Popper's right on half, so, you know, at the moment, he's probably carrying the best fuel in the field. Wartime, a little bit under half, not much in it. Debrev, right on half, and Keza a bit under half. So I just want to check. Yeah, Spiteri might have to. Yeah, I'm not sure. So looking at where it was this time last race, he might not get to lap 8. It might be a lap 7. But yeah, so Womble and Spiteri are the two question marks at the moment.
Right, that concludes our tyre and fuel update. So, sounds like two drivers that could potentially be on the two-stop strategy. Everyone else, most likely, rocking the same one stop. The only divergence for them will be if they pit on lap 7 or lap 8. Now, this front pack is very close together. Sizzling Sausage is managing to stay with them, and it looks like Snake Eyes might be going for a move this time around on Laminator. He's gone for it. He's gone through, so throws the fuel save in the bin, puts it by him. He's going to gain himself just over a second in stop time as well, is Snake Eyes with this fuel save. We were talking about 6% difference between them.
And one thing that was a real random in the Div 3 and Div 1 race last week, that there was a whole lot of different strategy around how much fuel was actually taken on board, whether it was enough just to get home or they filled and went for it.
That's right.
I think getting home's about 87, 89%, and that extra 10% gives you the revs.
Yeah, so it's going to depend what these guys want to do. Now, none of them come in at the end of 5, so Snake Eyes might have been banking on Laminator doing the two-stop, but clearly Laminator happy where he is.
Spiteri's in.
All right,
and I think we'll see one. Womble stayed out, so he'll run a. Yeah.
Here he does. Happy behind Malevolent One, apparently. Now, this is the part where Snake Eyes has got a serious decision to make. He's made the move on Laminator, and he was clearly quite happy sitting behind him for a while. So he had two options there. He had stay behind and continue to save fuel and use that to get the jump in the pit stop, which he was probably going to achieve, or go past him and drop a gear and disappear. And he's gone past him, but I don't know about the disappearing side of things, because Laminator looks like he's holding station just about. He's pushing it, but he's managing to keep in touch. And Sizzling Sausage looks like he's got pace on them too.
Yeah, Snake Eyes is sort of revving about 15-20% more. So he might just want to be creating a break, but then it'll be interesting to see if he goes in lap 7, runs the longer fuel time, or holds out to lap 8.
Yeah, that's interesting. Because, I think Snake Eyes might be driving to a number. He's proven all season that he's an exceptionally talented driver. And I think he's come across the line, well, he's not come across the line, but he's decided about halfway through lap 5 that he's on track to make it's no problem. So he's going to pick up his revs by, like you say, 15-20%, get that extra bit of power on the straight. And I get the feeling he push the last straight as well in order to really make that move on Laminator Stick and give him no opportunity to fight it back. But now he can increase his rhythm.
Sausage into P2, I think, down here, down the straight. He got a great toe out of the corner.
Looking like it. Laminator drops to third. In a bad sequence of laps for the Lightning Motorsport car. There's contact between them. That's not going to help their chances against Snake Eyes, that's for sure. Sausage managed to hold on to it.
No damage, so yep, so just like.
It looked like Laminator was thinking of fighting it back, but wasn't quite able to. Sausage not pulling the gap he probably would have liked through here.
Yeah, Snake Eyes out to 1.8 seconds and 6/10 better for his best lap.
Found another gear this lap, has Snake Eyes.
So I think we'll see fastest lap drop here. Oh, no, he's a little bit slow through the corner, but I think he'll still shred my fastest lap.
Laminator with an error through the last sequence of corners, just managed to keep it together. Still, any way you look at it, great race so far for Laminator. In a good spot. 3:15.4 for Snake Eyes on the board there. Rumbles in, end of lap 6, so that probably puts him on a 2-stop. Interesting. Very Morgan Davey-esque strategy as per last week. Head on the end of lap 6. So, as we move our way down the grid, Madrick in a bit of no man's land at the moment, sitting in P4. Wouldn't be the worst of results, but definitely want to be improving that. Puts himself in a better spot than his nearest championship rivals, though, so it's a good place to be right now. Renegade in P5 also in a bit of no man's land because he's had, I think, Womble and Spitzy, who were around him, hidden off their 2-stop strategy. Malevolent One also running solo, just ahead of Petey Pops, who's in 7th at the moment. It's a good spot to be in for him. There are a couple of drivers who are on 2-stop strategy that may manage to pull it back a little bit later. But for now, Petey Pops, net 7th. Looks good for him.
Yeah, and just on Snake Eyes here, he's pulled out to 3 seconds and he's still maintained his fuel advantage, so some excellent driving.
A class above the rest right now, this guy. Hello, admin. Put me in Div 3, please. That's what this performance says to me.
Yeah, I don't think he'll have any say in it.
Yeah, it's looking...
And I'm not looking forward to him getting up a division either, by the way.
Well, what sort of lap times was Division 3 running last week? Do you remember what sort of laps you were setting?
Yeah, pretty solid 16s into the 15s as the fuel load went down. Well, 16s, 17s for heavy fuel load, and just reading out Snake Eyes, last 4 laps, 16.1, 16.7, 17, then a 15.4 when he started changing his rev sequence. So right on par with a Div 3 time. Sausage is right on par with Div 3. He's dropped a 15.8, 15.7 in there. His last lap was a flat 16. So, and Laminator, not dissimilar. So, yeah, definitely matching where Div 3 are at.
It just shows how close Sector 1 is overall. The fact that there's so much overlap between the divisions. These guys are, you know, you could promote these 3 to Division 3 next week and they wouldn't sink, you know. That's
absolutely.
That's a testament to their ability and the quality that we've got here. Madrick into 7. All right, goes for an undercut.
Yep.
Now he's got 10 litres of fuel on board. How does that compare to the top 3?
Hard to tell. I think they're about. I think they'll come in somewhere between about 4 and 6 left.
Okay. So it sounds
except
like...
for Snake Eyes. Snake Eyes could be 8 to 10. He's going really well.
Right. Snake Eyes on a fantastic performance so far. Petey pops up to 6th there. Madrick will come out with 100% fuel on board. P8. He's going to get done by Madrick. Not Madrick, Wartime rather. Who will go through. Now, Wartime yet to make his first pit stop. That's not net position. We've got Kezarin back there as well. Behind Womble. Currently sits P11.
And the way it goes, this is lap 8, I think we could see Debrev and Poppers potentially, if they have a clean lap here, potentially jump Malevolent 1 on fuel in the pits, depending on where they fill to.
So 1.7 the gap right now. For Petey Pops to jump Malevolent 1, he needs to have saved about 15 litres of fuel. Where he has to have about 15 litres more in the tank. Because that'll equate to about I've got this wrong. So less than 2 seconds, 10 litres. 10 litre difference is 2 seconds saved in the pits because it's 5 litre per second refuel rate. So as long as he's got a 10 litre fuel advantage, Petey Pops will get the jump on Malevolent 1.
And where the cat amongst the pigeons comes in is, does it go to 100% or they fill at 80 or
well, that's it as well. So
their rev range?
So what happens when you're in this position, especially if you're using the predicted lap counts that these guys have on their fuel gauge? You've got your percentage there, but you've also got your predicted lap count sits there. Now, when you go into the pits at halfway, if you're filling to go to the end, there's a little diamond that pops up on your fuel gauge that says if you fill this much, you will make it. But that is calculated based on your consumption so far. So if Petey Pops comes in having used 10 litres less, then his consumption will be better, and not only will he fill up less to get to the same number, the prediction for him to get to the end might say he needs 75 litres instead of, for example, 80, because his consumption is better. So not only does he have 10 litres of an advantage going into the pits, but he saves an extra 5 litres coming out as well, because he doesn't need to fill up the tank quite as much. So 1 litre advantage turns into 1.5 or 2, you know, just by making it there with that little advantage. So
Snake Eyes is in with 4.
4 litres on board for Snake Eyes. Sizzling Sausage is going to be cutting it tight with 1 and 2 for Laminator. Very close for these guys. Renegade will come in. Malevolent 1 will come in.
If they feel short, they're confident about driving to their numbers.
That's right. So I'd predict to see about 90% or so for these guys. Renegade in, Malevolent 1 in, Petey Pops will come in. 6 litres.
That's 6 and 5 for Debrev, yeah.
And 5 for Debrev. So not a huge advantage there for Petey Pops, unfortunately. Now is the interesting part, the undercut for Madrick. Where does that leave him in regards to the 3 in front? Looks like he's still going to be a fair ways off. 5 seconds. It's going to rapidly come down as he comes to T1. It's going to be about 3 seconds by the time he gets there. There it is.
So
3
a
seconds
couple of seconds in that for him.
He
Yeah,
made
I think
inroads.
he was down to 6. Yeah.
If these guys in front of him fight a bit, he will probably catch up. But for now, stuck behind. Now
The
looks
guys
like
behind have all filled to 100.
Petey Pops has jumped Debrev. Petey Pops has jumped Debrev. Now, did Petey Pops short fuel or did Debrev overfuel? That is the question.
No, they both filled to 100. So that was his fuel advantage going in.
Wow.
Slight advantage.
Wow, wow, wow.
Malevolent 1 filled to I'd say the diamond and a bit of comfort. So he's short filled. Looks like about 85%.
Oh wow, 85 from lap 7. That's going to be a pretty big fuel save to get home. Because we've seen, what did we see there? Snake Eyes, who most of us would probably agree has been the most efficient driver on track so far tonight. 4 litres left on board after 8 laps suggests 96% used over 8 laps. I'm not going to do maths here, but that sounds like Yeah, it does sound like maybe 87 or so would be enough to get home. So what's Snake Eyes got on board?
Snake Eyes is in the 90s still, so he fully... Actually, the top three took 100% on.
Right.
So their fuel's identical at the moment. Madrick has got less, but he's also an extra lap into it. He pitted on lap 7. And then Spiteri, who's running the 2-stop, he'll have to pull in probably 2 laps. And I think the other one on a different strategy is Womble.
Womble's still yet to pit one more time. He pitted at the end of lap 6. Suggests he'd need to do 9 laps in one stint to make it home.
Yeah,
Tough ask
I know
for
you
anyone.
You can get home with 7.5 laps of fuel out of the pit stop, which I think's about 83 or thereabouts percent. So that's if you drive exactly the way you drive in the first stint.
That's right. Yeah. So got to be pretty clever about it.
And keep saving so you've got a bit at the end if you need it.
That's right, because the car does tend to behave a little bit differently as you go on, and you've got to factor in whether you do or don't have slipstream for one or the other stints. So at the front, Snake Eyes is cleared off, 8 seconds to the good over Sizzling Sausage. The battle for second is far from over though, and Madrick making a bit of a conversation out of that third place too. He will be in shortly. Renegade is the next of the one-stoppers on track right now. Well clear of Malevolent One in 7th for Deeds, who leads Petey Pops in P8. Good ascension for Petey Pops.
Yeah, he has pulled down about 3 or 4 tenths in the last third of the track, so I think he's definitely chasing.
Yeah, Malevolent One looking a little bit at risk, and Debrev not seeming to make any inroads right now on Petey Pops.
And remember, Petey Pops went to 100% fuel, so he can afford in a couple of laps to give it some.
This is absolutely crazy to me. Womble's in end of lap 9. That means he's done a 3-lap stint in the middle of the race, and he's going to do 6 laps at the end. That is madness to me.
Yeah, one thing I didn't pick up on, it didn't look like he changed tyres at the first pit stop, so he
that
run
might
them
be
down.
why he was changing so early. Right. Okay. That would explain that. Half-second penalty for Laminator. That'll be a track limit. Cutting a corner somewhere, somehow. That's going to really put a lid on any chances that he had to catch Sizzling Sausage, because it looked like it was hard enough work as it was, and that's just insult to injury right there.
Yeah, so we've got Spiteri closing on Madrick, but he will have to pit again. So, but the next runner after that's Renegade, and he started to pull back a bit of time on Madrick, so he's got 5 laps to do it, 5.5 laps. So
I wonder if Madrick's a bit too tight on fuel, because he's dropped time to Laminator as well. About 1.5 seconds in the last lap.
yeah, he definitely is a little bit shorter.
Our leader, 9.7 clear and pushing on, continues to extend his advantage.
I think where Madrick's driving to the numbers the way he's shifting, so he's had a look at the laps remaining and just cleaning it up a bit.
He should know at this stage that he doesn't need to worry about Spitzy. His main rival right now is Renegade behind. So with about 4 seconds in hand here, I think he can afford to dial it back a bit and just save his fuel, make it to the end.
Yeah, and Renegade's fuel's a bit better, but I'm probably not enough to pick up that 4 seconds.
Be tough for him, that's for sure. This lap, Madrick's 2 seconds down on his best.
It's 3 tenths between Malevolence and Poppers.
There we go.
That's come down from basically 2
It's
seconds.
all getting real.
Yeah.
But a jitter there from Malevolent One's going to make it hard to overtake him. Petey Pops. He pops 8/10 up on his best this lap. Fantastic lap so far for the doghouse car. A great resurgence in form. Spitsy into the pits, so that's going to be one more, hopefully, for these two. Here with the run onto the straight. Petey Pop's extremely polite on exit there, giving so much space to Malevolent One. But here's the run. They head down towards turn 1 for the inside for the doghouse car. Wheel to wheel they will go. The Deeds car nearly into the fence there. And a great switchback from Petey Pops. That's a great move up to P6. What a moment from the doghouse car.
I was almost going to say stay behind him and use it straight, but he's smarter than me and he did it.
Yeah, it looks like Malevolent One's not going to be able to answer him. That straight is just not quite long enough. Petey Pops with a half defense as well. Keeps it in front and will now probably pull away, as his pace is looking fantastic right now.
And a distinct fuel advantage, I think. Well, half a lap probably.
That's enough. Definitely enough to make the difference, and I'd say that's why Malevolent One is struggling so much. The Brevon, not a terrible comeback trail as well. Could catch Malevolent One here and go to 7th. That'd be damage limitation for his championship hopes at the moment.
And Lemonade is right on the back of Sizzling Sausage. So that P2 could be under threat down the back straight.
Right. This could be Laminator's opportunity. It'd be huge to be second in this race. Needs a good run out of this corner, and that slipstream will make this pass easy. Gets the run. Gets a great run, in fact, and it looks like he's going to just blitz by Sizzling Sausage here. The Black Rose car can do nothing. He will try to defend, but nothing that can be done against the overspeed of the Lightning Motorsport car. Laminator will stay to the inside, not allowing the Black Rose car an opportunity to come back. And now he's got to hold it.
And that is a fierce headwind. 5.2 metres a second, pretty much on the nose down that straight.
That's very, very quick wind. So that slipstream, additional power thanks to the headwind causing the cars to be so slow down that straight. Not that you could tell that visually, but it is that way. Laminator managing to pull out about half a second, although he's lost it all through this final sequence of corners. Sizzling Sausage probably going to have a go into turn 1 here, I think. These guys are probably going to battle all the way to the end, I think. Look at this. To the inside for the Black Rose car. Tries it again and sweeps through. Very nice. Finds himself on the outside for turn 2, though. And the Lightning Motorsport car reclaims second place. Tit for tat they go.
And I reckon these two will be out at the end. They got same tyres, same fuel, and 4 laps to go.
Separate them. Late move from Laminator. Sizzling Sausage down the inside will take the spot. The crisscross allows Laminator a better run. We'll look to the outside of the next corner. Compromises Sizzling Sausage as they head through, but he can take advantage. They're wheel to wheel as they come through the right-hander. Sweeping corners here. Very difficult corners to race through, but they're making it work. This is fantastic racing from these two.
Yeah, very respectful of track position, but it's also playing into Snake Eyes. He's just pulling away tenths on each corner.
I'll tell you who I'd be more worried about than Snake Eyes right now as Laminator goes off. Maverick will find time on these guys thanks to this battle. He's going to cut that time to Laminator in half here. You can see him in the background. 30 tyres for Laminator for the next few corners. Might put him under threat from the second of the respawn cars. Sizzling Sausage has gotten out of jail free there.
Yeah, the only Madric's got to watch is that he came in on lap 7 from memory. He's slightly lower in the fuel, so he's just not let the blood rush to his head. He's got to manage his shifting and times, be smooth, and he's every chance of catching Laminator.
Renegade's still there too. He's only 2 seconds behind, so these guys could come to blows late in the race. Madrick needs to catch Laminator before Renegade catches Madrick. The way I see it right now.
And Poppers has cleared out to 1.4 on Malevolent One, so building a buffer.
P6 for Poppers. That's fantastic so far for Doghouse. What a result this is going to turn into. There's 19 seconds down on Renegade, so this is possibly going to be about as good as it gets for the Doghouse car. But it's an awesome resurgence through the field for Petey Pops. And it's going to be a result that he sorely needed. Having a look at Madrick now. Sitting in 4th. Trying to close the gap to Laminator, but Laminator having an answer at every turn. That gap to Renegade stable at 2 seconds, but Madrick has hit the wall, and Renegade's going to go flying through. Straight into P4. The commentator's curse has struck the respawn car. This is one of those crucial moments in the race. Lap 12 out of 15. You're deep into your second stint. Concentration lapses at the wrong moment, and you find yourself in a position like that. In the
just carrying a
fence.
bit of front damage as well, so. But if he can stay close through this damage, it's just out now. He's getting that slipstream. He's got a chance to make amends.
Pull a little bit of time, hopefully, to Renegade down this straight. He'll have to go back at it, but going to be tough given that Renegade appeared to be faster throughout the later stages of
Poppers
this
has
stint.
hit the wall.
Poppers into the fence. We've cursed him as well. He's not lost out to Malevolent One this time, but put him back in harm's way. Look at that, 2 seconds lost through that first sector.
The other thing is it's brought Debrev into play now, and he's carrying pretty good fuel, so equal with Poppers and a bit more than Malevolent One. So he's back in the fight.
Debrev can still change things. He can still do more damage limitation yet. As he tries to maintain his P2 in the championship. No. P6. P6 in the championship.
Yeah. And he and Poppers are identical on fuel, and they're definitely got more than Malevolent One to the end, so they can afford a little bit more luxury just in those revs between straights.
So checking in at the front of the field. Snake Eyes has set the fastest lap of the race with a 3:14.250 on the last lap. He's absolutely dominating this race. 17 seconds clear now. Sizzling Sausage in second with 5 seconds to the good on Laminator, the Lightning Motorsport car. These guys nearly came to blows before, but unfortunately an error from Laminator put an end to that battle. Renegade in P4 for Hooncorp. It's been a good recovery drive from the Hooncorp driver to get to where he is. He's clear of Madrick by just shy of 2 seconds. After an error, saw Madrick drop down a little bit. See if he can fight that back later on in this race. Petey Pops has reclaimed 6th from Malevolent One, but only for so long. As they come down the back straight, it looks like Malevolent One's going to have a crack at him again. Although, he might just be thinking of his fuel numbers, because we did hear that the Deeds car was under-fueled. To the inside at the hairpin. Backs out of it. I think Malevolent One is thinking about nothing other than his fuel right now.
Yeah, and just to give you an idea of Snake Eyes, he's clearing out to the tune of 3.5 seconds a lap. Probably 2.5 seconds over the next closest, which is Renegade in the mid-16s. So, sensational driving.
Very impressive from Snake Eyes.
Yeah.
This is That quality that we were talking about.
So last 3-4 laps, 14.8, 14.2, 14.9. Everyone else is one in the mid-16s. Everyone else is 17s, high 17s.
It's on between Petey Pops and Malevolent One. The Deeds car will go through as they head onto the final straight. Start lap 14. 2 laps to go for these guys. Only so much time left for Petey Pops, and Malevolent One is running out of time and fuel. It looks like that Deeds car is really struggling on fuel. Seriously lacking on the straight in terms of power. Trying to pick up as much fuel as possible.
And Brev's joined the party now. He's down to 7 tenths. 8 tenths.
On board with Malevolent One at the moment. They're still fighting amongst each other. Malevolent One's going to be under threat from the CP car here, for sure.
Yeah, 1 3/4 laps to go.
Malevolent One all over the place. It's quite funny to see it's the Deeds car with the fuel issues. Some things never change here at Sector 1. The side by side again. Another error from Petey Pops allows Malevolent One to have a sniff up the outside. Great racing room given, but that's compromised Petey Pops.
Actually, I'll call it that the 3 of them are right for fuel to get home. It's just the other 2 have got to... There's Brev's got past both.
The Brev's gone through with a mistake from Petey Pops. That pushed Malevolent One wide. The Brev goes through to P6. It's a great recovery from the CP car.
Yeah, no, I'll call it. These 3 will all get home. It's just Brev and Popper's probably got more of a rev range they can use.
A Malevolent One under threat from Petey Pops. Still get P7 here.
Although I'm just watching his rev counter, he's revving it like he stole it, so his gauge might be showing a little bit more than the rough idea we get.
Possibly so. Madrick has dropped some time for Renegade, so we're probably not going to see any changes for the top 5 from here. They're pretty well locked in.
And we've got a slipstream race here, Brev and Malevolent. And I think he'll just pull out in time.
On board with Petey Pops. Front row seat to the action. Malevolent One's going to go for it on Brev, so it's not over just yet. For some reason, Malevolent One seems to have forgotten that he's fuel compromised and that he's racing Petey Pops. And that's brought Petey Pops right back into the fight there. Now Brev is a little bit more at risk. And Spitzy's not far behind these guys as well on the 2-stop strategy, so he'll be in a good position for fuel most likely. And tyres. Finds that little bit of time. As I say that, a couple of mistakes through the S's. Brev has dropped behind Malevolent One here. It's on for young and old for P6.
Yeah, I'm just looking through. They will all definitely get home on their fuel, which is a good thing.
Start the final lap here at Sinquasi for Division 4. Petey Pops in 8th. Getting some clean air on the car as they come through turn 1. The battle for 6th, 7th and 8th here between these 3 is as hot as ever. If you're just joining us, Malevolent One, slightly fuel compromised. Brev and Petey Pops in great position for fuel. Brev has spent the entire stint catching these 2 and is now in the thick of the action with them. Last lap here. Only so many more opportunities for these guys to make a difference. Defensive on the inside for Malevolent One. Brev held to the outside. Bit of an error on the exit there.
And Popper's snapping at their heels.
Petey Pops
Malevolent One's wide.
is
He's
right here.
He's back on.
He's managed to keep it together, but they've concertinaed right up here. No space to go for a move into this corner. Petey Pops might send one down the inside of Brev though, and Malevolent One is wide through, no fault but his own, and Petey Pops goes through to P6 with the CP car on the inside for the next corner. Petey Pops will cut across and try to defend it, and he does so. Locks in P6 for now.
That was a great bit of driving, that.
taking advantage where others faltered. Petey Pops manages to get it through. A little bit of a mistake there on exit, but he's still in position. And now the box seat is Malevolent One. He's the one with the front row seat to the action. He can take advantage of any mistakes he sees. Telegraph his moves based on the mistakes of those in front of him.
And a big slipstream straight coming up.
On board with Petey Pops, looking back at Debrev and Malevolent One.
Out to 8 tenths, 8.5 tenths.
It's far from over for these guys. We've got a big long straight coming up. The slipstream's going to play a huge part here, but we're probably going to miss whatever happens into the hairpin because Snake Eyes is approaching the finish. The exit here will mean everything. What can Debrev do? How early does he plant his foot? Not early enough, it seems. And a mistake from the Deeds car in the background sees him lose out as well. Snake Eyes will come across the line to take P1 for Division 4 in a dominating performance here at St. Croix. A great race from the Respawn car. Textbook from start to finish, and he had full control of the race at all times, it seemed. Second place as he comes through the final sequence of corners. Sizzling Sausage with a solid drive himself for Black Rose Racing. It's a great performance to see him in P2, and we've missed at some point the podium changing position for Renegade. He's managed to go through, but he's coming into the pits for some reason. Why is Renegade in the pits?
He was on the fuel light down the back straight, but I thought he had enough to get around.
He had 6 litres on board. I don't know why he's done that, but he's lost out P3 to Laminator, and Maverick comes across the line in P5. Petey Pops will be P6. He's just going to hold out to Debrev here as they come to the line. Just gets the exit done. Spitzy managed to get the better of Malevolent One after an incident on the back straight.
And Spitzy 2-stop too.
The 2-stop working out for the Bumcrack car. Franken Esports. Missed the name
actually,
there.
maybe not, but yeah, he had to. He filled it lap 5, so.
Malevolent One has run out of fuel to the line, but it doesn't matter. He's too far clear of Wartime. Wartime in P10. Disappointing result for Brocchio 5 Sim Racing after such a promising qualifying session. Womble will be P11. No, he won't. He's spun in the late stages and gifted P11 to Keza. Extra points for the Brocchio 5 Sim Racing car. Just going to make it through the last sequence of corners now. Unbelievable scenes in the late stages. Ketzer will be P11. Just manages to snag it on the last lap. Womble P12. An unfortunate result for the Red Mist car. On an oddball strategy, he was on for 11th, but couldn't quite keep it. A win for Snake Eyes. What a result for the Respawn Esports driver. An absolutely dominant display. Here are your race results for round number 5, Season 8 of Sector 1 Sim Racing, Division 4. Snake Eyes with a dominating win. 3:14.250 fastest lap, a pole position. It was a fantastic drive from the Respawn car ahead of Sizzling Sausage, who was second, and Laminator, who claims P3 in the late stages, thanks to an error from Renegade driving into the pits as they came down the final straight. Laminator, who led a lot of the race, most of the first stint, in fact, ahead of Snake Eyes. It was a great drive from Laminator. Renegade P4, Maverick P5, second of the Respawn cars. Petey Pops in P6 with an awesome result for him. He'll be stoked with that one, I think. Debrev in P7, probably a little bit disappointed with that one, but a solid recovery drive after a poor qualifying. Spitzy in P8. P9 was Malevolent One. Wartime P10. Keza P11. Womble last to finish in P12. And Nemesis with a disconnection of some form in the early stages of the race unfortunately means he does not finish this race. Now, the next debate is driver of the day, and I'm not inclined to give it to Snake Eyes because he's just stolen every point from this race, from pole to the win to the fastest lap. A thoroughly deserved result, but driver of the day, I'm going to have to say myself, Petey Pops was definitely an outstanding drive. Honourable mention to Laminator as well. He had an awesome drive himself, qualifying through to the race. After being so far down in the championship standings coming into this race, it's an awesome result for him, so he can hold his head up high after this one. What are your thoughts, Gur?
Yeah, look, it was great to see that race. All credit to Div 4. We had 2 battle packs. We had drivers coming in across 4 different laps, which is sensational to see the strategies converge. Yeah, Snake Eyes, absolutely sensational drive. I mean, that fastest lap there is 3:14.2, and he just didn't do one in the 14s, he did heaps. But for me, toss up between Poppers, he drove himself way back into form, and Laminator to finish third, P10 in the championship. I thought that was great, and an honourable mention to Sizzling Sausage, mistake free, and controlled his second place.
Yeah, that's very true, actually. It was a very, very solid drive from Sizzling Sausage, so definitely a good honourable mention there. So, Petey Pops for me, and sounds like you're torn between Petey Pops and Laminator. We're getting a few for Petey Pops in the chat there as well, so definitely one of the fan favourites for tonight's race. So that is Division 4 for round number 5 complete. Next up on the agenda is Division 2. We'll move to that very shortly, but thank you very much for joining us for Division 4. We'll be taking a quick break here for 5 minutes, and we will be back with Division 2. Thank you for being a part of it, and thank you, Graham, for fantastic hosting.
No worries. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. See you next round.
Good afternoon, good evening, Sector 1 sim racing fans from Australia, New Zealand, and around the world. Welcome back to the broadcast. We are back and ready for more action here at Sector 1 Sim Racing. Season 8, Division 2, Round 5. Action coming at you. We've just had Division 4 and they put on a fantastic show for us. And we're expecting more of the same here in Division 2. We've got 12 drivers to take part tonight, so we've got a couple of absentees this evening. But I think the remainders are going to make tonight's racing very, very interesting for us. I'm joined in the box for Division 2 by none other than the fantastic Captain Muffin.
Adam, good afternoon, good evening, hello everyone at home. Welcome back to Croix. This is honestly going to be one of the best tracks available in Gran Turismo 7. It's very much a driver's track. Every corner is wide open, fast flowing. It's magnificent. It's like the French equivalent of Bathurst, where it's hard to get a lap right, but once you do, my God, does it feel great.
Yeah, it's a surprise that it doesn't get used more often, a great track that it is, but I digress. We will move into the action very, very shortly. Now that we're here for Division 2 at Croix, we'll have a quick look at the track map. Just to refresh you, we have had a look at it already tonight, but we'll look at it once again. Here you go. There is the track. There are so many corners. I'm not even going to say the number. You can just read it on your screen. Racing medium tyres for our drivers tonight. 4 times tyre wear and 4 times fuel means the strategy is up in the air. Captain Muffin, actually, you're the best person to ask about the strategy because you are the one that made the alternative strategy work last week in Division 1. So talk to me about that.
Well, more or less, it's just for me personally, my brain capacity isn't very big, so I couldn't comprehend how to manage fuel and tyres to last 7 or 8 laps. I prefer to have just a straightforward dumb boy strategy and just go flat out for 3-5 lap stints. And if I didn't make anything from it, so be it, that's on me, but thankfully I was able to find the most out of the car, and the guys in front were also fighting a bit here and there, which made me catch back up and manage a good result from it, so I'm happy that it worked.
And what was your expectation going in with that strategy?
Going in, I was expecting to lose 1 or 2 positions from where I started, but to finish 1 position higher is magnificent. You love to see it.
Awesome stuff. So you can see on the track map there, quite a complex track. We've just seen it with Division 4. A lot to go through with this track. Couple of really, really tough sweeping corners that have braking points in the middle of a turning section. So really, really tough to get right. Big long straight down the bottom there. Home straight's pretty long too, and then there's a bit of a back straight there across the bridge in the middle of the circuit too. So a very, very big challenge for our drivers. Moving into our strategy, as we discussed, the 2-stop and the 1-stop. 5 laps a stint if you're doing the 2-stop. 8 or 7 if you're doing the 1-stop. We saw most doing the 1-stop every race so far. We'll see if Div 2 is any different. What are your expectations, Muffin? What do you think people are going to do here?
I think a lot of people are keeping their cards close to their chest, but from the people I have been watching, the 1-stop seems to be the optimum for a fair few people. They could be foxing, I'm not too sure. Hard to tell. I think all I can really tell with absolute confidence, based on the qualifying speed that some people are starting to offer up, I reckon it's going to be a possibly 5-horse battle with Evil Evo, the 2 Black Rose boys, and the 2 Doghouse boys.
All right, well, what do you say we get qualifying underway then?
I love the sound of that. That big orange button looks too good to leave unpressed, so let's send the boys out and get going.
To press the button, send the boys away. We are about to go racing or qualifying here at Croix for Division 2. So hold on to your bootstraps, grab a snack, kick back and relax and enjoy the action coming your way here. More Sector 1 action than ever before here at Croix. It's been fantastic so far. This new slipstream setting, I tell you, it's been a marvel for us.
It has been very good. It does allow both the cars to catch back up in a larger sort of space, with the range going from 3/4 of a second to 1.5 seconds. But it also means that that dirty air factor has been greatly reduced. Now you can follow a car through some technical sections of track and not have to brake or lift off more than what you normally would if you were on your own. It's almost like we've done the equivalent of when Formula 1 switched from the older regulations to the new ones, where now everyone can follow each other more closely. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's like a full-on adjustment to the aero. So Really good stuff to see. And we love it. We're so happy to have such close racing on display here at Sector 1. So let's run through our field a little bit here. We've got Division 2 on track now. So our drivers, as it sits. Dadson, first cab off the rank. Out in front for Dadson Esports, team owner, of course. Or Dadson Racing, rather. Now, let's have a quick look here at our championship standings. So Dadson himself, currently, well, whereabouts is he on the leaderboard? I think he might be standing in. Is he standing in tonight? No, he's second in the championship. Who am I kidding? Dadson's right up the top. He's equal points with Evil Evo in P1. I've gone crazy. Righto, Dadson, first cab off the rank, currently leads the way in the championship. Point leader equal with Evil Evo 9. Patstar, currently in second. Patstar's currently sitting P13 in the championship, so we'll be looking to make improvements for sure. Evil Evo 9 down in P3 at the moment. Now he leads the way on points as well, equal with Dadson. And that's the second of the doghouse cars on track, that fluorescent green, white and black. What we love to see. Deeds team owner, Karen Unleashed, currently P9 in the standings with 63 points, not too far behind Mr. Bumcrack. Two veterans of Sector 1 here. They'll be looking for ways to get one over the other, that's for sure. Blind Man for Hooncorp Esports. Blind Man's an interesting one, currently P6. Now, he's done a couple of stand-ins in Division 1 for GDR, Prima GDR, for his teammate in Hooncorp. And he's had a couple of good results, or good performances at the very least. He was, I believe, 4th at the Red Bull Ring in Division 1, so definitely showing that he's got really good pace. So, will he be able to convert that to results in Division 2? Tim Durags in P6, that'll be a Kung Fu Racing Team driver, that's for sure. Yep, he is indeed. New livery on that car for this round as well. Bright orange. Love to see. Black Friday for Red Mist Racing in behind in the trademark livery. Beautiful looking car as per. Old Wakey in the Black Rose car here. Another veteran of Sector 1 Sim Racing in Gran Turismo. Been around since the early sport days. And very much a mainstay here. He's had some showings in Division 1 as well, I believe. So he's definitely not a driver to scoff at. Race fan in P9 for, I believe that's CP. Yep, it is indeed. Into the fence on the exit of turn 1, straight off the bat. Now, Race Fan currently sits P11 in the standings, but only 1 point behind the next car in front, and that's Black Friday. Lunacy, P10, currently 3rd in the standings, not too far off Dadson and Evil Evo 9. So, a pole and a win here would do a lot for Lunacy's championship, and definitely capable of getting something like that done. Mr. Bumcrack, owner of Kraken Esports, P11 in the black and orange. Killer on the loose, last driver on track for Lightning Motorsport. Number 22 rather, on that car. Now, Killer on the loose, he sits. Where does he sit on the standings? Let me just have a look here.
He probably won't sit anywhere because he is a fill-in
He's a standard, yeah, he is indeed.
Motorsport owner Stickers.
The Stickers absent for this evening. Now, Stickers is 4th in the championship, so that is really going to hurt him. He's probably going to drop behind Old Wakey here because he's only got a 7-point advantage. But Old Wakey will be looking to get the jump on his rival there in the form of Stickers. And this is an opportunity for the top 3 in the form of Lunacy, Dadson, and Evil Evo 9 to pull away. So Dadson, Evil Evo 9 and Lunacy are the ones to watch in this qualifying session, likely to set competitive times.
Very much so, and I just want to say as well, you also keep in mind that sometimes cars just don't work the way they want to. And what I'm getting at here is, Stickers, while he isn't racing tonight, Old Wakey currently chasing him down for P4 in the championship, I believe you said. Old Wakey's teammate in Young Wakey in Div 1 last week lost connection, unfortunately, and had did not finish the race, I should say. Now, the hardware, software, internet, whatever you want to call it, that Young Wakey used last week, probably the same stuff that Old Wakey's using today. So just keep that in the back of your mind. You don't want to see it, but it could happen.
Don't want to jinx them this early, but it's a very, very valid point. You're going to have to hope that there's been some preventative maintenance done since that issue last week. Young Wakey being one of the drivers on form to challenge for the title against Jeesh. And lost that opportunity last week through a disconnect. Hopefully for Old Wakey, not about to experience much the same thing. First cars coming across the line. Dadson sets a 3:13.5. It's a good lap to start him off. Evil Evo, 3:14.5. Karen with a 3:15.7. The Rags in the 14s. Blind Man in the 15s. 16 for Black Friday. Old Wakey goes to third. A good start for him.
That's what I say as well. You also have Pastel there across the line, second behind Dadson, but unfortunately got a half-second penalty in the last couple of sectors of that lap, so he is going to serve the penalty this lap, and then this lap should count provided he doesn't get another one.
Unfortunate for him, most definitely. But Dadson, provisional pole for the team owner of the black and gold cars.
Just want to say as well, on top of Pastel, we had Lunacy coming to the pit lane after that first lap there, got a fresh set of boots. So look for him towards the end of the qualifying session to possibly shoot up the timing order there.
Saw this from Mountain Goat last week as well, I think, and I don't know if it worked out too well for him. You really need as many shots at this track as you can get. See what Lunacy can do though. But yeah. Pat Star has not set a lap. This lap will not count. Well, it will count, but he will serve a penalty which will hinder his chances of setting a good lap. So the next lap, lap 4, is going to be the lap that matters. Now remember, that timer in the bottom left of your screen, when it ticks over the 15 minutes, that's the checkered flag out. I mean, whatever lap these guys are on will be their last. So only so much time for these guys to get something done here.
It is very much a case of you have to do it now and never do it ever. It's such a long lap here, and at least from my experience with the car, you don't feel like you're getting the most out of it until you get to that third flyer, fourth flyer region, when the tyres are got to be aware and then they got to be a heat, fuel tank's gone down a bit. That's when the car starts to come into its own. This first and second fly generally won't be everyone's fastest lap, but it's a good banker in case something goes wrong on your quote-unquote hot laps.
The best banker goes to Dadson. See if he can improve on that. He will be the first to cross the line as well. Just riding on board with Karen. He ran into the wall a little bit on the way towards the back straight, so that's put him well on the back foot for this lap, so he'll be putting it all on the next one. Dadson out front. Unclear what sort of lap he's on. Let's see what he can do as he comes to the line. 3:13.5 to beat. Be in a rhythm now. He's got the track to himself, or that's how will feel anyway. No cars in front of him. Decent gap behind him. Really pushes the last corner there. Right to the limit. Is it a 3:12? Not quite, but it's a 0.1. Nearly a half-second improvement for the Dadson team owner. Pat Star with a 15. Evil Evo 9 with a 14.1. Championship leader. Not able to match Dadson.
That's what I say as well with Pat Star. He served that half-second penalty, so I speculate that that time there, without that penalty, would have been closer towards approximately maybe a 3:14 dead, 3:13 maybe. As we missed there, race went to P3, bum cracked to P4. Great laps from them.
Looking good for these guys. It's been a good lap so far. Or good qualifying session rather. Mr. Bumcrack. Division 3 champion last season. Proving his medal in Division 2. as many thought he might. Comes as a surprise to few, given that he's been here before. Race fan with a good lap last lap as well. CP car looking solid. We're looking to crack into the mid-13s and unseat Karen, who's a mere 0.006 of a second in front of him.
Karen as well is half of a tenth purple on Dadson's time. It doesn't sound like much, but over this lap, half a tenth in each sector adds up.
Could make all the difference for the Deeds car. I think Karen sorely needs a good performance to get his form back, get back in his rhythm. We know what he can do. We know what he's capable of.
You say that, Adam, but you got to remember as well, last time out at Interlagos, Karen, with absolutely no confidence going into the round, snagged a P4. Unfortunately, had a chance at P3, but got a 3-second pit lane penalty. 3-second penalty there for cutting the pit lane on the way in by mere millimetres. I had a look at the replay afterwards of that race, but Karen...
Fine margins.
It's unbelievable, unfortunately. Just one shred of rubber from the tyre over that white line, and the stewards, or whatever you want to call them, the penalty officials, they'll give you the biggest slap on the wrist they can.
Alright, so drivers to watch. Blind Man, potentially. Lunacy as well, yet to set a time. Across the bridge. No sector split, so not purple this time around on Dadson's time.
Just going to keep an eye on Pat Star here, see what he can do in relation to Dadson's time now that he's actually got a lap here without a penalty.
Sector split here. 1.8 clear of his best.
And that currently, that'll put him
13.2. That'll put him right on the front row.
100% at will, only a tenth more to find, and he'll be on pole position. Let's see what he can do going through the last couple corners now.
Right up near the front too, so only Dadson will set a lap time before him. Dadson improve? No. Pat Star will improve, and he goes to second. Less than a tenth separating him from the front.
Evilivo improved as well, only by a small margin of a hundredth of a second.
Tim Durag's up to third. What a lap. What a lap from... Oh, Old Wakey goes to third. Just about missed that.
Blink and you miss it here at Sector 1. As we got Bumcrack as well, now P5. 13-4, great lap from him there.
Dropping like a stone. This is not good for the championship point leader.
Now, from here, it's hard to tell, but I speculate Evilivo could be the last person to finish a lap here. Not this lap, but the next lap coming.
Tim Durags has put himself in 5th. Lunacy goes to 4th. With his first timed lap on the board. And we'll get one more. Needs to make it count. Tim Durags is done with this lap. He's lost it on the exit of turn 5 or 6 or whatever that is. One of the more difficult corners. Good sportsmanship from him. Dadson leads the way. He's first out on track and he's first on provisionally on the grid. Pat Star still on a lap. Let's have a look at what Dadson gets across the bridge. Let's see his split time. He's 6/10 down. He's not going to improve. Pat Star, what can he do? 1/10 down. May still improve. Old Wakey coming across the bridge. Old Wakey is purple by nearly a tenth. Old Wakey could unseat both of the drivers in front of him. Lunacy is down on his lap.
Keep an eye on Lucy here.
Drags is 5th. Pat Star has spun. Pat Star is out of this lap. Old Wakey could take it all here. Come down the back straight. He's half a second up on his best. Apparently that's not faster than Dadson, despite being only a 10th and a half behind Dadson on time.
Yep, currently as well, Lunacy going across the bridge, nearly 1/10 purple on Dadson.
Lunacy as well, with an opportunity here. See what Old Wakey can do first. He'll be the first across the line. The first that matters anyway. Dadson will not improve.
Yeah,
3/10 up for Old Wakey.
Yeah,
That time is
Lunacy-
coming down.
Lunacy as well, half second up in his time, but not purple, which is very strange.
Dadson's had a monster bridge then. Through the last sequence of corners for Old Wakey. Put it all on the line. The final sequence here. Left and a right onto the home straight. Can Old Wakey take pole position from Dadson? No, he can't. He goes 2/10 down. Lunacy's purple into the last sector here. But he's got traffic in front of him. He needs to be careful. The Lightning Motorsport car's in his way. He's going to get impeded here. He's been impeded by the Lightning Motorsport car in the middle of qualifying.
Oh,
The Black Rose car was on to be pole.
The steward's pens are clicking furiously now.
Oh my goodness, he'll be furious. Lunacy comes to the line. Will he be pole? He won't. He's 2.5 down. That was the difference. The Lightning Motorsport car blocked him into the last sequence of corners, and he could do nothing. Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's not ideal to see that, especially when you're on a hot lap. You're focusing your car in front. Unfortunately, knocked out of the way, but I think the steward will let them handle that one. I ain't touching with a 10-foot pole.
Most definitely. The upshot is, unfortunately, Lunacy cannot improve his lap and goes fourth. I'm sure there will be some strong words between the pair of them at some point. Dadson on pole position against the odds. 13.1 was enough. Pat Star in second with a 13.2, and Old Wakey front of the second row. 13.249. Lunacy in fourth. Tim Durags in fifth for Kung Fu Racing Team. Mr. Bumcrack in sixth for Kraken Esports. Karen Unleashed for Deeds in seventh. Race Fan in eighth. Evil Evo 9 in ninth. That'll be very disappointing for Evil Evo 9 to be down there, given that he's the point leader for the championship. Black Friday in 10th for Red Mist, and Blind Man for Hooncorp in 11th. Surprising to see him so low given his performances in his Division 1 standings, but we'll see if he can make a turnaround in the race. Killer on the Loose in P12, and that was the Lightning Motorsport car that there was just so much controversy over just previously, but we'll talk about that a little bit later on. Let the stewards handle that one. So Dadson will start from the front ahead of Pat Star, Old Wakey, Lunacy, Tim Durags rounding out the top 5. Bumcrack, Karen Unleashed, and Race Fan make your top 8. That's the first 4 rows on the grid. Bumcrack, what do you think after all that, mate?
I'm not Bumcrack, I'm Muffin, but anyways.
Muffin. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I've got Bumcrack on the brain. Honestly, that sounds terrible when I say it like that. I'm talking about the driver, the plumber, our favourite Kraken Esports driver, and P6. But Muffin, tell me, your thoughts on qualifying?
That top 9 is very close, less than a second, covering those cars, which on any other track would sound like a lot, but over a 3-minute 15-ish lap, bit less, that is really tight. That is just what you love to see, in which I'm surprised a lot of cars there didn't optimise possibly getting the slipstream going down that back straight, because that's an easy 3-4 tenths there. It's free, you don't have to do anything for it, but either way though, all the cars there really close. And Dadson, the prospector, Div 1 prospect right there, 3-minute 13.108 for pole. You'll love to see it.
I tell you, Dadson on track right now to be promoted to Division 1 next season. What do you think he thinks of that?
Well, he's probably shaking his boots. There could be a bit of poo coming out, but he's got to live in the moment for now. He's racing Div 2. He's got a championship to fight for. And I say, let's get him going. No point waiting around. Let's send it.
Let's get these guys going. race time for Division 2.
I also want to get bum crack on the brain print on a t-shirt, if that's alright.
See you in Division 1 next season, Dadson. Righto. Div 2. Round number 5 is about to get underway here at Croix. The lights are on and they're out. We go racing. It's a solid start from everyone. It doesn't look like anyone got away too poorly. Dadson will maintain his lead into the first sequence of corners. Bit of touching in the background though as the cars go wheel to wheel down the main straight through the first corner. It's a bit touch and go through there. Be careful, lads. It's pretty tight. Dadson sweeps across to reclaim that lead and hold on to it through the first corner, and he's away well too. Look at that. 6/10 to the good down this back straight, and he's probably going to hold it into the hairpin here.
All the cars there very clean off the start. Everyone's sort of giving each other room through that very tight and awkward turn 1-2 complex. But
They're 3 wide in the background there. Lunacy, Old Wakey, and Patstar going at it. Patstar went for one, and he's going to get done by Tim Durags here, potentially around the outside. Lunacy manages to hold on to second, and Old Wakey in third here, ahead of Patstar and Durags.
Just want to say as all we're going here, big mover off the start. VTX Blind Man starting 11th, I believe, currently up to 8th already. He's gained 3 spots somewhere there. I didn't even notice it.
Fantastic start from the HoonCorp car. We were talking about that just before. We'll see what performance he can put in the race, given his qualifying. Lunacy cruising up to the back of Dadson right now, but Dadson soaking up the pressure like nobody's business, managing to hold it together, and Lunacy just opting to bump him through here. Looks like Dadson might be on a bit of a fuel save versus Lunacy's push strat. We'll see.
Just at the back here as well, Blimey unfortunately contacted back to Viva Evo going into the double left-hander at the end of Sector 2 there. Pushed him wide a bit, which let Racefan sneak on through to take P8. Evil Evo didn't lose a position there, neither Tim Durags in between there in P7. But Blind Man, big loser now, currently P9, 6/10 off the back of Racefan.
It becomes bad news as quickly as we receive good news for Blind Man as he drops further back. We'll see how the race develops for him. The 2 teammates here for Black Rose in second and third. Lunacy and Old Wakey challenging Dadson, and it looks like it's going to be done down here. They're wheel to wheel in the background there as well. You can just about see it. But the battle is on for the lead here, so we'll stick with that for now. Look at them in the background. They're 3 wide right now. They're chopping and changing as quick as they can see. Contact side to side. The move's on for the lead. Lunacy down the inside of Dadson will take the lead into the hairpin. Dadson's going to try it around the inside. Settles for second position, and he'll hold on to that ahead of Old Wakey.
Racefan off. Racefan is off. Went for a double move up to possibly P4 there. To overtaking Patstar, Karen and Evil Evo. But unfortunately going into that hairpin at the end of the big long straight, missed his braking point, went straight into the grass.
Unfortunate scenes for Racefan. This battle pack is so strong right now and really tough to get through. Evil Evo's made an awesome ascension through the field here to get up to 4th place though. So it just goes to show that he just did not have a good qualifying session, because his pace is on here, and that is going to be alarm bells for Dadson right now.
Yeah, I just got to think here as well now. You got 2 Black Rose cars in the top 3 there. You got to wonder if they put them on split strategies to possibly try and upset Dadson and try and sort of keep them thinking of whether or not they're on the same strategy and try and sort of work with each other as best they can.
Well, unless Lunacy's got an extra few seconds of pace in his back pocket, I don't think that he's got... he might be on a push strategy, rather, here and going for that 2-stop, much like what you did last week, which would explain the difference in pace between him and Dadson at this stage.
Well, come lap 4, we'll do a tyre and fuel update to inform everyone at home where the field is at currently, who could be on what strategy, and we'll work backwards from there.
Down the inside for HoonCorp, and into the side of the doghouse car goes Karen. And that puts Patstar into the wall, and he's dropped well back there, unfortunately for him. That puts him more or less out of this race. They're side by side in the background here too. The HoonCorp car, the Red Mist car, and the Kung Fu Racing team. And they're going to go at it again.
All three of them fighting for the same spot of real estate on the track. They keep it clean though into the next set of corners and go back in single file.
Blind Man will hold on to it for now. Up to 6th. It's a good resurgence so far for him as well. Him and Evil Evo, the biggest movers in the early stages. Dadson seems to have fallen behind on Lunacy at this stage. 2 seconds the gap now. Starting to think that maybe Lunacy is on a push strat. We'll see.
We will indeed. Yeah, pretty like I said before as well, Evil Evo just siding his way through the field there, capitalising on everyone else fighting. Now the P4, what could have been an absolute shocking race for his championship now turns into like a, not a damage control, but a possible, what could be points
it's an
plus.
Opportunity, isn't it? So he's back in the fight from a position where he looked like he was out. So really, really well done to mitigate that poor start for Evil Evo. Now on board with Black Friday chasing Blind Man. Slipstream now coming into effect on this back straight. 5/10 the gap, but it's going to come down very rapidly. See if it's a fuel save strategy or if he goes for the move here. Looks like Blind Man's pushing right now. Black Friday buttoning off a bit, letting the gap extend out. Happy to save a bit of fuel. Playing the long game.
Just want to say as well with this new, you got contact in the back. Race fan, Pat Star almost loses it, gathers it back up, but loses a bit of time there. What I was going to say was on that back straight, Race fan went for the move initially, got past, and then Pat Star got back into the slipstream, got past again, going to the corner.
Now. It was Pat Star and Race fan down the inside for Race fan. A lot of contact with Pat Star down this straight and down the inside into the corner, and Race fan goes well deep off into the grass, straight into the fence. And that was pretty much all she wrote. Recovers back onto the track, but the struggle and impedes the Lightning car there as well. Same car as was having an issue in qualifying.
Yeah, so after that, bum crack unfortunately. Got a half-second penalty now. I think I know exactly where he got it. Just coming off the long back straight there, the right-hand kink. That catches a lot of people out, especially with the wind direction going the way it is. So he would have dirty tyres, a half-second penalty, and he is at risk of going into P10 once he serves it.
Yeah, that tailwind's tough. Really increases the understeer through there, and I'm sure having a slipstream didn't help him anymore either. Dadson's still under pressure from Old Wakey here, but Old Wakey looking like he's prepared to kind of sit there and just keep it on him, save some fuel, save some tyre. We've got to start thinking about Evil Evo 9 though. He's definitely coming into this race. Could be a masterstroke in strategy from the Black Rose team though, if they've split their strategies like you kind of suggested, Muffin. Put Lunacy on a push strat so he can drive away and interfere with the remainder, while Old Wakey slows down Dadson by fighting him, or doubles down, hedges the bet, so to speak, and goes massive fuel save for the entire stint here.
I'd say at this point here, for these first 5 laps or so, possibly more, Old Wakey might just sit behind, just sort of get that fuel save buffer in, and then come that first round of pit stops, and possibly only round, if these guys want to do a one stop, he might try and jump him or close up that gap significantly, so we can just get past him with much more ease come after the pit stop sequence.
The Kung Fu car of Tim Durags sitting in P8 just behind the Red Mist car. We go for a move here on the bridge. Poor run from the Red Mist car of Black Friday. The Rags goes straight through and will be ahead onto the back straight.
Something we've also missed as well, Pastar had another issue now, currently down in P12, 30 seconds off Lunacy and 9 seconds off Killing or Loose in P11.
Have we seen this from Patstar most races? A great qualifying followed by an incident-packed race?
I don't believe so, but I could be wrong. I'll have to go back through the record books for that one.
I don't seem to recall an outstanding performance from Patstar yet in his tenure here, so I'm hoping to see one, but it looks like tonight's not going to be his night. It was a good qualifying session though.
That was, and really unfortunately, you don't get points for qualifying, you get points in the race. So it's a real shame for him to do so well before the race begins and unfortunately lose out, but It's not over yet. Very much so. Everyone in front could have their own issues and he could close that gap back up, but yeah, at this point, it's not looking too good for him, but if he just keeps pushing along, anything can happen.
This front pack is starting to close up a little bit. Looks like Evil Evo is catching right up to the back of Old Wakey, and Karen Unleashed is not far off these guys either. They're chopping and changing in the midfield too. Race Fan has just got the better of Black Friday, much like Tim Durags did earlier. CP car now in pursuit of the Kung Fu Racing team car. Into lap 3 now. Remember, the divergence in strategy will come about lap 5. Pit windows, lap 5 for the 2-stop, and lap 7 or 8 for the 1-stop. Keep an eye out for those.
I think we're very much seeing our pit strategies now being lap 4. I believe now is a good time to delve into your APR Automotive tyre and fuel update. So, if you want to pull that graphic up on screen.
Let's get that going. Here we go. Oh no, that's Division 1. Wrong one. I've pulled up the wrong APR Automotive tyre and fuel update. Here we go.
Well, if everyone just wants to imagine number 1 is in fact number 2 and just chooses to identify as number 1, that'd be lovely. But currently, in the lead here, Lunacy, 6.1 seconds to the good. And look at his tyre and fuel strategy. If he's on the 2-stop, I'd be amazed. So, just want to say, I love the 2-stop strategy, so he's already got a bonus point for Driver of the Day nominations for me. Dadson at P2, got a bit more fuel on board, significant amount so to speak, enough to do a 1-stop strategy, but he is currently 6.5 seconds down. Will he be able to close that gap up with doing one less pit stop? Old Wakey in behind, exactly the same fuel and tyres beneath him, sort of just mimicking what Dadson's doing there. Evil Evo, same boat once again. These three are running identical strategies, which is quite amazing when you think about it. Dadson is doing all the hard work with no slipstream. Old Wake and Evil Evo have got slipstream there, so they can save a bit of fuel on the straights and not lose any time because of it. Yet Dadson is still keeping up with them fuel-wise. Karen there in P5, he's on the 1-stop, but he has saved a bit more fuel than the 3 cars in front of him, bar Lunacy.
Rare for a Deeds car.
I know, he's really breaking the stigma. Yeah, you'll have to see it. But with that gap there of 2.8 seconds, I can see him closing up during the pit stop, but it might be enough to get like slipstream range, but with these 3 in front of him closed up so much, I don't think it'll be enough to really sort of shrink that gap. Blind Man in behind, and currently your second 2-stopper on the grid, half tank of fuel right now, running about the same as Lunacy. Tyre-wise, used a bit of them. He is really unaggressive, but when you're doing a 2-stop, you can. The tyres do not care. Tim Durags in P7, he could be on a 1-stop possibly, but fuel-wise, he'd have to box in lap 7 to make it work, and it's going to be hit or miss right now, but could be a 2-stop. Race Fan P8, he is definitely on a 2-stop as well. Teaching him well, that kid. Unfortunately for that error at the start there to lose out, but if he can just keep his nose clean for the rest of it, he should be able to keep a good position here. Currently a bit below half tank of fuel, tyres about the same as Lunacy leading the race in the same strategy. Bumcrack P9, similar sort of situation to Tim Durags in the sense that he could do a 1-stop, but you have to box in lap 7 and it could be hit or miss, just a touch over half tank of fuel. Black Friday there, more or less similar again. Could do a 1-stop, but has to box lap 7 to make sure he will make it on fuel there, and could be hit or miss, running about half tank of fuel as we speak, touch over. As we got Tim Durags spinning around there. Oh no! Unfortunately, lit up the rear wheels there on the exit of turn 2 and just caught him out significantly. It's easy to do there, very easy to do. Keeping on though, we've also got Killer in the Loose P11 there. He is got half tank of fuel, so I'd speculate at this point he'd be on the 1-stop. Plan to box lap 7 there. Tyre wise, looking pretty all the same as the rest of the provisional possible 1-stoppers in front of him. And then Pastar in P12, same again. Tyres got a bit more wear on the rear due to his possible spins and whatnot, and so little mishaps here and there. But he could do a 1-stop, but he had to box this. He had to box on lap 7 to make it work.
Right, and that concludes our APR Automotive Tyre and Fuel update. That puts us in a much better position for understanding strategy. So, the big news is Blind Man in P6, who's currently challenging Karen, P5, on a 2-stop, as well as Race Fan behind, who's actually making inroads here, and Lunacy, who's cleared out 8 seconds. Now, Lunacy is on the form that he's on right now. It's going to smash this 2-stop out of the park. He's 8 seconds clear, having led 3.5 laps, 4.5 laps. So he's pulling about 2 seconds a lap on Dadson. Over a 15-lap race, that's 30 seconds, which is much more than a pit stop. So he is on form to win this race right now.
I'd argue there, with that, the pit transit time definitely less than 30 seconds, but taking into consideration fuel and tyres, the gap might be smaller than you think. Without a doubt, like Dadson here will have to possibly put in the stint of his life to bridge enough of a gap to not get caught or get jumped by Lunacy in the pit stops once everyone does their pit stops. But yeah, Lunacy right now, he's looking at a great spot here. Currently 9 seconds to the good, doing pretty consistent sort of 3 minute 13, 3 minute 14 lap times. And I sense once he gets to the end of the stints 2 and 3, that lap time will come down to the 12s, possibly 11s.
On really good form now. Now this is the battle for the championship lead. Evil Evo 9 and Dadson have 100 points each in the championship. Dead even between them going into this round, so the winner of this round will take the lead, assuming they don't finish mid-pack or lower and allow someone else to step in and overtake them. It's head-to-head between Evil Evo 9 and Dadson right now.
Keep an eye on Lunacy here. He's rejoined the track in P9, right in front of Tim Durags, who's going to get a jump on him. There we are. Cool. P10 now for Lunacy. He is 19.5 seconds behind Dadson there. That gap, ooh. Dadson might have to possibly put the hammer down here, unless he's planning on doing that 7-lap stint at the end rather than the start. That is going to be very tight once Lunacy does his second stop.
Well, look, it's pretty close because Lunacy's got to find. He's now on track with these guys, right? He's net position with everyone who's doing a one-stop. Tim Durags goes round. Christmas come early for Lunacy there as Tim Durags goes round because he needed to get by him as quickly as possible. So, unfortunate for Tim Durags, but Lunacy will be very happy to see that to let him through. Now, 19 seconds, and he's on the same strategy from here as Dadson and Evil Evo, but with a key difference. When these guys make their next pit stop, Dadson, Evil Evo and Old Wakey, they're going to have to put about 100 litres of fuel in. They're going to be stopped for a long, long time. Lunacy will not need to do that. He's going to need more like 70, 75 litres. So he's going to save about 5 seconds in fuel time. So that gap that he has to make up there is more like 14 seconds. So keep an eye on that. We'll see if he gets any closer. His pace is looking good. He's looking like he's definitely faster than these guys. But I get the feeling Evil Evo has some pace to burn here, and he just needs to get by Dadson.
Just having a look as well at the top 4 there. While Dadson, Evil Evo and Old Wake are all very close to each other on track, Dadson has unfortunately started to dip into the reserves there, use a bit more fuel to try and possibly pull away, but it's not working for him as he's got Evil Evo and Old Wakey right up his clacker there. Possibly Evil Evo might be going for a move here. No, settles back in, thinks better of it, and just chooses to save fuel there. But P4 there, Karen Unleashed, he has got possible maybe 10 to 15 litre fuel advantage over the 3 cars in front of him. Give or take, if I'm reading the gauges right.
Well, that's a 2 or 3 second advantage in the pit lane right there.
100% it is. So if I was Karen right now, whatever lap these 3 cars in front box on, follow them in, best case scenario, you'll jump him and you can start pulling away. Worst case scenario, you'll be behind him, but that gap will shrink significantly. As I'm guessing the 3 cars in front must have a bit of an issue, because that gap went from nearly 3 seconds to just over 2.
I think Dadson is holding these guys up a little bit, very acting like a cork in the bottle right now. What was interesting was on that big long back straight, Evil Evo elected to bump draft Dadson instead of doing a massive fuel save or going for a move, and I think that was a mistake because it looks like Evo has more pace right now than Dadson does, so it would probably be beneficial for him to lead. I think he'd have a better chance against Lunacy if he did. Right now, Lunacy is the man to beat. P9, 17 seconds the gap. He's pulled nearly 2 seconds on that lap.
Yeah, since coming out of the pits, it has been a gain of actually 2.5 seconds. He has gained 2.5 seconds, give or take, since coming out of the pit lane there.
With a heavier fuel load as well. He's filled up the fuel. He may have put on fresh tyres, but he's also carrying more fuel than those guys right now. So he, in theory, should be the same, if not maybe a bit slower than the guys in front. But here he is, outpacing them by a considerable margin.
Yep. Just want to say as well that my prediction of Race Fan and Blind Man doing the 2-stop has been completely disproven. They're currently still on lap 7 with fuel, but they'll be boxing this lap, I reckon, to bring it in. Blind Man. Karen, though, has just done a magnificent fuel save there. Really taking care of his tyres as well. While that gap is 2 seconds to the cars in front, really, if the cars behind him in Race Fan and Blind Man, just give him bump draft. He's only back in this game.
Well, even if he gets overtaken by them and he just sits in the slipstream for a little while, that will help him out too.
That absolutely will. It's pretty ironic that the team that is known for being horrible with fuel strategies is currently the one with the best fuel strategy. But Karen there really showing his form, trying to, like as I said before, break the stigma behind deeds and fuel. But I guess, like, while it's not St. Croix B, being at their home track to an extent, home round for the guys at Deeds Racing, he wants to put on a show for the sponsors. They're all here in the corporate box, I imagine, sipping on some weird flavours of Lord knows what. And right now he's doing a good job, Karen.
Been good so far. We're on board with Evil Evo 9 up the front. Trying to have a look and see what he's doing on this back straight here. 4/10 the gap to Dadson. Looks like he's in a bit of a mode push right now, this Evil Evo. Not trying too hard to save fuel down this back straight. Kind of trying to stay in touch with Dadson in front. The end of lap 7 coming up. This is going to be the point where people make their one-stop decision. Are they going to pit end of lap 7 or end of lap 8? Run longer on the first stint or not? If you're Evil Evo Muffin, do you think you want to box opposite Dadson?
Personally, I'd say yes right now. As it's
Evil
Evo
Evo onto the fence! He's in the wall. The Deeds car does much the same. Karen gets loose as well. Evil Evo throws it all away. That's 2 massive errors in this on this race night. A poor qualifying and now a massive incident in the race through with no one to blame but himself, really. Goes around again.
Wow.
Race Fan and Blind Man in at the end of 7, like you say.
Yeah, and Race Fan there, almost coming in on fumes there. Now the question is, does Blind Man short fill and get a little gap to Race Fan to possibly try and pull away, or does he brim it so he can push a bit harder in this last stint?
Can't see them on exit yet. Looks like Race Fan's gone all the way. Blind Man's cleared him.
Yeah, both cars there brim the tanks, but because of Blind Man having the advantage of about 5 litres, pulls a bit of a gap there. But Race Fan's still in the slipstream range, which that could work out for him. He might have the opportunity just to sort of sit back here, do a bit of short shifting for a few laps while the tyres get up to a good temperature range. Then once he's got fuel to burn, he can gun it and try and get some positions back.
Promising position for both of these guys, really. The interesting one to me is Lunacy, currently 7th with 13 seconds to Dadson.
Yep.
So
Also set
I think that Lunacy's going to pin in for the second time and come out behind Dadson still, but not by much.
Yes, currently they're doing the fastest lap of the race with a 3-minute 12.8, and he's currently going faster, I believe, which is quite amazing considering the way the wind direction is going, the speed he is showing. He's doing a great job there. 12.3 seconds now the gap, and it just keeps shrinking. Every time he finds a straight, a corner, anything, just goes down a little bit by bit. Right now, Lunacy, in my opinion, I'm sure he wants to keep pushing because that's the natural instinct of a race car driver, is to push, go fast, have fun. But right now he doesn't need to. He could drive at 95% and probably still make the gains he's making with less risk involved.
It's been a stellar drive so far from this young man. Putting in lap after lap, super quick pace, pushing the limits, and closing that gap. A fantastic drive. And he might even come out ahead with a stint to go of these guys out the front. His pace has been so good.
Just keep an eye on the back here while the cars at the front are all sort of going neck and neck there, back to front. Blind Man and Race Fan, as Race Fan goes a bit wide there, coming onto the back straight, separated by just over half a second. Race Fan is in prime position here to make the pass if he wants to, but will he? Does he want the slipstream? Does he want track position?
Given these guys how they operated on the first stint, you'd think that they might want to save a bit of extra fuel. So if you're a race fan, you probably want to take this opportunity to save a whole lot and give yourself a better position to be in the later stages of the stint.
Very much so. As a race fan, unfortunately, gets a bit loose coming out of the hairpin down the end of the back straight. The gap there increases to a second, but looking at the front now, look at the fuel save from Karen. He's got more than 10 litres on everyone.
That's going to be a 3-second difference. He might jump Dadson.
The question is though, does Karen put less fuel in the car and extend that gap, or is he putting more fuel in so he's got a reserve, a buffer to fight with if he needs to?
I think it's best to go for track position here, or at least get yourself nice and close. Dadson short fuels to 97%.
Yep.
Karen is right with them. Look at that. He's right on the back of these guys.
Can confirm Karen only put 89 litres in the tank. He has gone for the short fuel and it's worked a treat. Right now, he is in the battle for the podium, possibly the win.
It's a good position to be in for Karen. Blind Man right behind these guys as well. Look at this. They're all so close on track yet again. Race Fan can see P1 not far ahead.
The only thing I remember is Blind Man and Race Fan have already been out for a lap, and the 3 cars in front of them have got a lot more fuel on board. So right now, Blind Man and Race Fan, if they want to be with a shout, they've just got to spend some time staying behind fuel saving. If they try and fight now, they're going to run out of fuel before lap 15 even comes around.
A lot to consider for these guys, and it looks like the gap already forming between Karen and Old Wakey as well. 9/10 the gap. Karen's got to stick with them. Cannot let them get away. His pace was so good in the late stages of the last stint. Just got to maintain that.
Very much so. His pace was so good, in fact, that even with him saving an extra 10 plus litres of fuel in the competition in front, his personal fastest lap of the race is better than both Old Wakey and Dadson by 2/10 or 1/10 and 2/10 respectively. Whatever Karen is doing in that car, he is making it work a treat.
Doing a good job so far. Wasn't the best run onto the bridge, but he's still in touch with these guys.
Right now, what Karen probably wants is for Old Wakey and Dadson to have a bit of a biff and barge going down this back straight. If Old Wakey and Dadson even do a hint of bump drafting, Karen is going to lose out massively from that.
Karen's had a good run onto the straight. To the delta. 8.5 tenths. Karen's in a good range right now. Old Wakey has a stronger slipstream being closer to Dadson, but Karen will pick up some time at the end of this straight. through the hairpin. It was a bit early on the brakes for Karen. Loses a bit of time.
Also now, Evil Evo and Bumcrack 5 for P7 and 8. Both of them run pretty similar fuel loads, and they have got a touch more on board than the cars in front. It's a big gap to close up, but they've got a bit more in reserve to push a bit harder if they need to, down some of the shorter straights here at St. Croix.
Can Evil Evo 9 catch the front pack? He's P7 right now by 5.5 seconds. We've seen the pace that he's had in the first stint, and he's now on better pace with 7 laps only to get through. Can he catch up to Race Fan? All these guys battle enough to see it happen.
Old Wakey there. I thought I might be looking for an outside move on Dadson. Doesn't make it happen. Karen went into the wall. Lost position to Blind Man now. Ooh, that's gonna hurt. That's really gonna hurt.
Blind Man's going to fill that gap though. That's good for the pair of them. Karen's not in a bad spot though. He's got to do a bit of fuel saving to get back to where he was.
Right now, fuel-wise, Blind Man, Karen and Race Fan aren't the same as Race Fan goes very wide there at the end of the back straight there. Loses a lot of time to the cars in front, and which really, that could end his race right there with no slipstream to carry him along. But Race Fan, Karen and Blind Man, there is a little bit of difference, but they're pretty close on fuel strategy now. So them three have played themselves into the game, but you got Old Wakey and Dadson in front. Old Wakey especially, they've got a good bit more fuel on board.
Evil Evo is chasing them down too. The gap is now less than 3 seconds to Race Fan. It's coming along.
Also got bloody Bumcrack, unfortunately must have made a mistake somewhere, has dropped back into the clutches of Black Friday. Gap is now half a second between them, coming on to the S's down to the bridge.
Black Friday still pushing on that one-stop strategy.
Black Friday could be in a good spot here. If he can just sort of keep this gap the way it is, possibly close up a little bit before they get into the back straight, he should be able to slingshot past him just into the braking zone if he wanted to.
Done. Lunacy. 30 seconds clear out the front. A good buffer to have.
As long as he doesn't make any mistakes, he should be able to possibly maintain this lead, or the gap will be tense, maybe a second or two, once Dadson and Wakey come on by.
These guys can't afford to mess around with Lunacy. Sure, they're looking at that gap and wondering if it's enough. Blind Man in P4 now, he can see the podium, which is crazy from his starting position.
It's very insane, but right now personally, I think he's going to find a bit of a challenge to stay there. Both the cars in front of him are running a lot more fuel, and really, even with slipstream, the moment those two cars in front put the hammer down, he's not going to be able to keep up.
Here we go. Lunacy is in.
Yep, as
New
Dadson,
tyres and fuel to go in. 30.8 is the gap.
Dadson's coming around the second to last corner now. The long right-hander. About to do the left with the little right-hand kink at the end. Old Wakey's
Fuel's
right
going in
behind
for
him.
Lunacy. He's probably going to put about, what, 75 litres in?
I speculate 75, possibly 80 if he wants a buffer.
They're going to go for the move here. This is spicy. They're going to go by. Lunacy's not out. He's going to be behind them. He comes out in third. He's going to drop to fourth. The move's on. Old Wakey's gone through into the lead. This is all changing around now.
Also contact there between Karen and Lunacy as they both go very wide and hit the wall at turn 2 there.
That's not what Lunacy needed.
Unfortunate, no damage for the pair of them thankfully, but I think what happened there was Lunacy still coming up to speed getting out of the pit lane, sort of just on the racing line, not doing anything too wrong. Karen at full pelt didn't try and avoid him, go for the move, round the back of them, and just sort of like caused a bit of a Constantina effect nearly. Evil Evo at P6 now, Race Fan P7, yeah, he must have lost a position there somewhere. He's now in the clutches of Black Friday and Bumcrack.
Having a hard time.
his last lap time was 3:20. He's had a major issue somewhere.
So Evil Evo promoted to 6th and now chasing Karen. With the Deeds driver in range.
Evil
Lunacy's
Evo
got
currently
5 laps to find 2 seconds on Blind Man and then start making moves. Blind Man is in touch with Dadson and Dadson remains in touch with Old Wakey. But Old Wakey has realised that the best way to win this race is to put 2 cars between him and Lunacy.
right now, Lunacy does have a fuel advantage, but it is not that big in all things considered. Possibly maybe 5 to 10%, maybe a bit less. So really, Old Wakey might be able to snag a win here possibly. It's going to be down to whether or not Lunacy can filter his way through the traffic. That's going to be the deciding factor here.
That's it. You know, he's got to catch up, but then he's got to pass too. So he's going to get close, that's for sure. I think he'll be in this battle pack before long. And it benefits both of them if Lunacy battles against Blind Man and Dadson. Because then Old Wakey can get away. It's great team play from these guys to split their strategy.
Yep, currently Blind Man and Dadson are in a black rose sandwich here. Not the best place to be.
And Lunacy is catching quickly. It's now down to less than 1.2. It was 2 seconds last we checked in.
Really, I think the gap on the back straight shouldn't really change too much between these guys. Where you're going to find your differences, as Lunacy nearly loses it there on the exit, going through the middle section in Sector 3, where those cars in front will generally short shift because the straights aren't as long. That's when Lunacy will close up. That's where you'll find the gains.
Lunacy's sitting there like salt happy right now, rubbing his hands together, eyeing up his meal. Blind Man is not far in front.
Blind Man's got fuel-wise.
Range.
Blind Man is a bit compromised fuel-wise here, so he hasn't got the ability to really push and catch back up to Dadson in front. He could be a sitting duck here for Lunacy.
He's got the benefit of the slipstream to help keep him afloat. Lunacy hasn't pulled any time through the S's or further.
Currently, looking at lap times there from your top 3, Old Wakey managed to put, was it 8/10 of a second on Dadson that lap. Blind Man managed to catch up by about 3/10 of a second to Dadson. So really, Old Wakey here, he might have pulled a master stroke.
Old Wakey's handled this strategy perfectly. He's done an excellent fuel save and just kept the car in good condition. And that's what Old Wakey does, you know. He's a very clean, collected driver and doesn't drive beyond the limit. Very mistake-free and keeps the car in good condition. And that's why he's leading this race right now.
Another thing we missed as well, race fan, unfortunately, his woes just keep getting bigger and bigger. Now down to P9 behind Bumcrack and Black Friday. Thankfully though, 16-second gap to Tinder Eggs and P10, so as long as he keeps it clean, he shouldn't fall any lower.
He's still in a relatively decent spot. He could go for a fight against Bumcrack. The one I want to watch is Evil Evo 9. I want to see if he can catch Karen. And then the big one, naturally, is Lunacy versus Blind Man. Blind Man's not going to take this lying down whatsoever. He will not die wondering.
Not sure if my timer screen's playing up here, but if it is right, Evil Evo found approximately 3 seconds on Karen Unleashed that last lap.
I'm seeing 3:18 for Karen and a 3:14 for Evil Evo, so you'd be about right.
Yeah, okay, perfect. Right, yeah, then, so it's not me. But one thing as well, Evil Evo, he did have a bit of a fuel advantage coming into the stint, but now he's running near about Stevens as Karen in front. I wonder if he's pushing the car too hard and might possibly lose out from it coming into the race.
Alright, the move's on here. Lunacy on Blind Man. They're on the back straight. A slipstream for Lunacy, and he'll cruise straight past by the look of things.
Lunacy, unfortunately, Blind Man just helpless there, unfortunately. Fuel-wise, he is compromised. He would harm his own race if he were to sort of defend that position.
Yeah, he's not fighting back. Looks like he understands the nature of things. And he'll just want to stick with Lunacy and hope that Lunacy carves him a path back onto the podium.
Alright, now 1.3 seconds between Lucy and Dadson. That gap is closing up significantly. I reckon end of lap 13, the top three should be line astern.
I think Lunacy's going to catch these guys a bit quicker than you think. Going to come down quickly here. 0.3, the gap. Might be about a second by the time we get onto this home straight. Not the best prediction, but we're close. 1.2 the gap. Dadson still knocking on the door of Old Wakey rather.
Yeah, Dadson here currently probably in the worst spot fuel-wise of the top three. He should be able to make it to the end while keeping up with Old Wakey, but unless he were to sit in the slipstream for a couple of laps and just sort of gain a bit of advantage, he's not going to be able to pass him anytime soon.
This might be his moment. Goes for the move down the inside. This is it. Dadson, this could be the move that ends the race for the pair of them. Time lost through here is crucial. Lunacy is chasing these guys quickly. Dadson retakes the lead on lap 13. The black and gold car leads the way here in Division 2 ahead of the duo from Black Rose Racing.
From there as well, that gap from P2 to P3, which was roughly 1.2, is now less than a second here. Lunacy, this is his race to lose at this point.
His race to win too. He's still got 2 cars to pass. It's not going to be easy, especially with his teammate having the advantage of the slipstream from the car in front of him.
Yeah,
but it's all on now.
I'm hoping Jimmy Superfly's in the pit box there saying that team orders are off, mate. I want to see a battle here.
An eye out for that dirty air. It can really upset the car. Blind Man seems to have dropped off the back of Lunacy, so it's down to 3 now.
Really, I think other than your top 3 battle, the next closest battle on track will probably be Karen and Evil Evo. The gap is coming down, but probably won't be close enough for a move until the end of the next lap, I believe.
Alright, the battle for the lead is on here, onto the back straight, where the slipstream is so vital. Old Wakey gets an excellent run onto the back straight, and he's going to look to chase down Dadson. Lunacy in slipstream range. Looks like he's going to be a bit far back to go for a move here. Dadson is mode push right now. He is not messing about here. He's held on to his 6/10 gap as they head into the hairpin.
I'm worried about Dadson here. He is using more fuel to try and sort of bridge a gap now, but I'd hate to see him do it and just to sort of back off in the last lap and lose that position and have nothing to do about it. Like right now, 8/10 of a gap. He's currently 8/10 of a second up on his personal best time of a 3:14.6. He is really giving it the beans, but I feel he may have gone for it too early. He might have jumped the gun here.
Well, it may work to his advantage to unsettle the drivers in behind, because you can look at how Lunacy has closed right up to the back of Old Wakey. If these two fight, then they might lose out. Old Wakey goes into the dirt, and Lunacy takes P2. The gap is a second, though.
Just want to confirm as well, the Black Rose boys have now aligned themselves strategy-wise. Fuel is the exact same. Other than the tyre life difference, they are both in mode push from here on out.
Both with an advantage over Dadson on fuel.
Dadson should make it to the end fuel-wise. That's not an issue. It's just how hard he can push to make it to the end. As we've got
dropped the hammer, hasn't he?
As Karen there goes purple in this lap, but he's got a half-second penalty with Evil Evo right behind him, possibly going for a move. Not yet. Blind Man's also closed back up. This battle for the first step off the podium, so to speak, is back on here.
Blind Man's dropped into the clutches of these guys too. That's fascinating to see that happen in the late stages here. So Blind Man for Hooncourt, defending from Karen Unleashed and Evil Evo 9. Evil Evo 9, your point leader, tied on points with Dadson, who leads the way now ahead of Lunacy. Regardless of how this finishes for Dadson, whether he's second or third or first, It's a great result for him to be ahead of Evil Evo 9. It's going to make all the difference in the championship for him. Evil Evo 9 is going to look to limit damage as much as possible by getting a move done on these two, but he's got to get close first, and they're not making it easy for him.
Carrying that a half-second penalty, that's really going to hurt him. It's really going to almost put him out of the battle here for P4, and Evil Evo is just going to get a free kick and start attacking the almost wounded blind man. That was not a pun or anything like that, I swear.
Where's the penalty serving zone on this crap?
Penalty serving zone is on the back straight, the worst possible space you want to serve penalty. The big long straight.
Aaron will serve it shortly then.
That he certainly will. He won't fall any further back than 6th, but it's going to be a mission for him to catch back up to these not top 2, but 2 with him now.
Going to have to work hard for it. It's a good exit for Lunacy out of the sweeping right. Toe is in full effect here. It looks like Dadson is pushing hard, though. That gap is not coming down as fast as I would have expected. Dadson goes defensive to the inside. Lunacy will be forced to the outside into the hairpin. The move is on for the lead. Lunacy to the outside. Does he go a bit too deep? Dadson holds on to it on the inside. A perfect defense from the Bacchus racing car. The black and gold holds station. Gold on the car and gold for the medal towards the end of this race. If he can hold on to where he is now, they're coming up 1 lap to go.
Right now, I think Dadson may have just done enough to be able to sort of push for most of this last lap here fuel-wise. I can't see him running out if he were to go hell for leather for the most part. But Lunacy and Old Wakey, they've got more of an advantage. They can rev the absolute tits out of it and make it sound like an old V10 F1 car.
So, strategy changing. Evil Evo gets into 4th. Karen goes for a move on the Hooncorp car. Round the outside for Deeds through the final corner. Not a corner you usually overtake at, but he makes it happen. The Deeds car into 5th, right on the back of Evil Evo 9. Lunacy within 3/10 of Dadson as they start the final lap. Dadson into turn 1. Manages to get it stopped. He's going to have to defend again, though.
Yes, the Australian Minister of Defence right here, the prospect to Dadson. He has to defend every corner at this point. Lunacy goes purple there on his own fastest lap, not by much though. No move into this corner here from Lunacy, possibly biding his time. Just waiting maybe for that back straight. It's really hard to defend the move there if a car's close enough to you.
Lunacy is piling on the pressure here, trying to make Dadson crack, but the Australian Minister of the Defence, or the prospector, as you're calling him, of course, is not crumbling at all. He is as hard as a rock here from P1 is Dadson and is holding station. Lunacy seemingly can do nothing against the rock-solid defense of Dadson, the prospector. The first sector is done and dusted. That's 1 down for Dadson. There's only so many to go here on lap 15. Old Wakey will not be a threat for these two.
Old Wakey should be comfortable for a P3 minimum if he just keeps his nose clean. P4 and P5 are definitely not settled. Evil Evo, Karen Unleash, separated by a quarter of a second. You can put a piece of tissue paper between them, if anything. If that.
Onto the bridge now for our leaders. Lunacy within 3/10. Onto the back straight. That'll be where everything changes. Lunacy backs off, doesn't go for a move there when he could have. He's banking it all on this big long back straight. The exit is going to be crucial here.
Dadson Unleashed has just hit the fuel light. He should be fine to go to the end from here, but that might just sort of distract him in the back of his mind, like, can you make it if he revs the tits out of it from here?
10% should be enough for Dadson. That fuel light is what that means. It was a great run through that curved corner at the exit there to get onto the back straight. Dadson got a good run. It's going to be enough by the look of things. He's defensive into the hairpin. Lunacy tries for the inside. He's going to be forced to the outside. Dadson, it's a carbon copy of the last lap. Dadson down the inside. Lunacy on the outside. He's not going to be able to hold it. Dadson run right to the edge of the track there. Almost onto the grass, but just leaves him enough room. And Dadson holds on for now, but they've got to make it through the S's here.
This is amazing to watch, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're enjoying it as much as we are. Currently, really, Lunacy's only got a couple more opportunities to make a move here. Only 2 more real braking zones for
There's
the...
no real overtaking opportunities left. Lunacy's going to have to invent something, and he does into the right-hander. Collects Dadson almost. He's onto the grass. It's getting elbows out here. Dadson is still in front, though, through the final sequence of corners. The exit is going to be imperative here. Dadson's going to get it. Old Wakey's right with them. He's got a slipstream to the line. Is he going to get past Lunacy in the late stages? Not quite. Dadson with the win. Lunacy in second, and Old Wakey rounds out the podium. What a finish from these drivers. A great race for Black Rose Racing. Evil Evo will be P4 ahead of Karen and Black Friday. Blind Man in 7th. Bumcrack in 8th. Race Fan in 9th. Look at all these cars and how close together they are. It's amazing to see Tim Durags in P10 in the end for Kung Fu Racing Team. An unfortunate result after some great moments throughout the race. Pat Star will be P11 after a fantastic qualifying. The race simply did not go his way. And Killer on the Loose will be P12 here around Croix and move on to round number 6.
I reckon as well, Killer could be hitting miss fuel to make it to the end here. Not that he can't lose any positions, but he's going to have to really just sort of nurse the car back. He's currently on 0% as we speak. Let's see if he can make it to the line.
He'll cruise across the line, no problem, but it's not been the best race for Killer, unfortunately.
Fuel's gone. He is out now. He is in limp, well, not limp mode. He is limping. Just cruising back to the line. 130, 125 k's an hour.
To the pit lane? No, not quite.
Gonna say doing a repeat of Renegade there from the Division 4 race. Trying to slosh some fuel into the old, I can't think what the terminology is for it, but into the sort of like,
the pump, yes.
That's probably the best word for it, thank you.
Oh, wow, what a race. It was amazing that the top 3 were right on top of each other with 2 different strategies and everything. Fantastic. What a run from Lunacy. You know, and what a win for Dadson. That puts him in the lead of the championship ahead of Evil Evo, who finished in 4th. Let's have a look at our results for the race now, which simply do not do this race any justice whatsoever. It was a fantastic finish from the top 3. Look at the gap. 3.5 tenths between 1st and 3rd after 15 laps of this 3-minute circuit. Dadson in 1st, Lunacy in 2nd with the fastest lap, and Old Wakey in 3rd. What a race it was from those 3. Evil Evo had so many ups and downs as well. Definitely had the pace to win this race too. You can see from his 312.9, despite being on the one-stop strategy, was able to almost match the pace of Lunacy when he was pushing. So Evil Evo will be ruining what could have been. He definitely had the pace to win that race, but you got to be in it to win it, and he simply wasn't. That qualifying was what changed that for him. So unfortunately, Evil Evo finishes in P4, loses the lead of the championship, and will have to come back stronger for round number 6. A good result from Karen for Deeds in 5th place. A lot of chopping and changing for him as well. Black Friday recovers to 6th in the end. Blind Man in 7th after dropping back in the late stages. That fuel compromise strategy not quite working out for him, but he jumped up a long way from his qualifying position, so he should be pretty happy with where he ended up. Mr. Bumcrack, or the Plumber, for Kraken Esports in 8th. Race Fan in 9th. Unfortunately, he had good pace as well. A couple of incidents put pain to his race, and that 2-stop strategy could have worked for him if he hadn't had that early incident. Tim Durags rounds out your top 10 with Pat Star in 11th and Killer on Duluth rounding out our field for Division 2. That is us for Croix C. No more Croix C for the rest of the season. We are on to round 6. Next week we will be Group A, Division 1, Division 3 racing for you. So don't miss that when we come back. It's going to be great. So, Division 2, run and done. Muffin, what are your thoughts?
I am speechless. That was going to be like top 5, one of the best races in Sector 1 I've seen ever. That was just phenomenal to watch. I'm stunned. It's great to see 3 cars fighting for the win, especially when one was on an alternate strategy and still in there in the mix. But everyone at home, don't be afraid. Chuck your drivers of the day into the chat there. See what you reckon. Me personally, I've got to give it to Lunacy. I'm biased to the two stop. It's I know it's a bad thing, but to for him to do a two stop and to nearly pull it off, that for me is just spectacular driving. Special mention to Dadson, of course, to put on the best defensive masterclass I've seen in a fair while. But yeah, got to give it to Lunacy for almost making the two stop work a treat.
Do we need to change the wide hips title from Croix to Dadson? That's he's definitely throwing his name in the hat there. But yeah, I have to agree. Lunacy with a great result and a great drive on that alternate strategy, and that was what made the race so exciting as well, because we knew as soon as we had that tyre and fuel update, or even before that, when he pulled out that early gap, we could kind of tell that he was on a push strategy, and we knew that eventually the strategies were going to come together, and that was going to create more exciting racing in the late stages. We knew he was going to be there or thereabouts. So the suspense was there from lap 4. So credit to Lunacy for making that one of the most entertaining races in Sector 1 history, quite possibly. Old Wakey gets my driver of the day, though. Consistent drive, solid drive, took the lead for a period. And like you say, Dadson as well. A really, really solid drive, masterclass in defence. But yeah, I'll give mine to Old Wakey because I think he thoroughly deserves a driver of the day nomination for that.
That is very fair. No, definitely. I'll wait. Like special mention him as well to almost snag a win there at the end when Lunacy and Dadson were going hip and shoulder each other. God, I can't speak. The last few corners there. But yeah, grouse drive. Love to see racing like that here at Sector 1.
I can't blame you for not being able to speak, but yes, I have to agree with you. It was fantastic racing, up and down, drama all the way through, and really, really exciting to watch. So well done to all of our drivers tonight. And that will be us for the evening, I think. So that's Group B, Division 4, Division 2, done for round number 5. We're on to round number 6 next week for Division 1 and Division 3. Get the big guns out. It's going to be an exciting night of racing. I'm hanging out for it, so I hope you guys are too. So thank you, Muffin, for your work this evening.
No, thank you, Adam, once again for hosting, and thank you to Gur as well for doing the, or Graham as some people like to call him, doing the Division 4 race. And thank you to everyone as well, just for turning up, watching along, having a good time, and hopefully cheering as much as we were in the comms box here, because that was phenomenal to watch all those races tonight here. Absolutely love it.
Yeah. Shout out the drivers, fantastic performance, and really happy to see that. So we will see you all again in just a week's time. Bye-bye for now.